Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Oh, baby, let's do it live out at Jack's Place. Round 1 of the Memorial Tournament is underway at Muirfield Village. We are about an hour in. I am Bo. The great Reese is here. Bake is pushing the buttons back at the home office, and away we go. This is the 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament. And if you cannot wrap your head around that, man, I don't know how to help you. When you think about what this tournament means to the city, you think about what this tournament has done for this community. I was talking to Fish and Bone about this because, they're old like me. And we were saying, if you think about what put Central Ohio, on one of the things that put it on, the world map, was Jack deciding to do this here. Mm-hmm. And the idea that this was a hunting ground, that he liked to come out here and hunt as a kid and thought, boy, that looks like a great place for one of the greatest golf courses the world's ever seen. And then he did it. And then he hosts this tournament here every year. And it is a beacon. And, for me, I coined it many years ago, the unofficial start of summer in Central Ohio. It doesn't feel like it this morning, Reese. But every single time that I drive in here, every single time that I get out of the car and I walk through and I see 1 tee and 9 green down the hill, and then 10 tee and then 18 green there, and you just say to yourself, God, we are so blessed that we have this thing that continues to be one of the coolest things every single year. It's a warm blanket for me every time I come back here. This is Memorial Tournament number 16 for me.
Wow.
So I know AR is he's got to be 25-ish, I would say. What do you think
Dom is?
So Paul Spahn, legendary sports director at Channel 10, had been to every one, and he was one of 2 or 3 guys who had, and he retired a couple of years ago. I would say that Dom has probably been to 40, I'm going to say about 45.
It's incredible. Probably
covered 45 of them. That's my guess, something in there. He's certainly the longest tenured. But, yeah, and for him, someone who lives here, makes his home here in this area, and you think about it, it's just kind of a rite of spring or a rite of the start of summer. This is what we do. We host this world-class event, and we do it better than anybody else. It isn't a major, but the way that they treat the players, the way that the experience is for the fans, it certainly feels like one when you walk in here.
Well, it's interesting. So Max Homa was talking yesterday, and he said that he remembers growing up just seeing so many highlights of Tiger on this course.
Oh, my gosh.
As Woods won, 5 times here at Muirfield. And so many of those golfers kind of grew up knowing Jack's Place as the place to go and the place that you want to play. And I know we'll get into what, with Rory and the Golden Bear, this week. But it's kind of a parallel path, the growth in the city of Columbus and the growth in this tournament. Since its inception 50 years ago, everything's been on an upward trajectory, that everybody wants to come here. And I know there's sponsors and things like that involved in the Pro-Am, but the fact that you can get Nick Saban and Steph Curry and Peyton Manning and Larry Fitzgerald to come on a Wednesday and just pal around on a golf course, I think speaks the most volumes that you possibly can. And I also think I stole Bone's smoothie. How did that track? That thing looks all right. It's good. That thing looks all right. I saw this. So Chef Steven brought Brother Bone out a smoothie. By the way, if you're listening, Chef, I love one at the end. I mean, some of these look spectacular. You got to get another flavor, because I told Bone and Tyvis yesterday, you got to each get a different flavor so you can try them. And Tyvis is like, I don't know anything but peanut butter. And I'm like, you've got to stretch beyond that for your milkshake. I don't know anything but peanut butter. Yeah, I do the coconut coffee. I do that in a second. You give me that
There's a Cocoa Crave. I could do that as well. The Clean Green, I'm in. This is how you know you're at a proper club, by the way, Reese. So on the smoothie menu, which is, I heard Chef Steven telling, I guess I was there when he handed them out, and the Native Company, so that's where they come.
Okay.
But what I noticed, because you think about a proper club, what's required at a proper club? Well, they have recommendations of when to consume the smoothie. So pre-round, post-round. You need a little recharge, so you're going to suck down a double berry.
That's
you need
a
a little
solid
pre-round
recommendation.
Energy.
Yeah.
Swirled PB&J, which has raw coconut, banana, peanut butter, Sacha Inky protein. I don't know what that is.
Tastes
and I
good.
should know. Cashew milk finished with strawberry chia jam.
Okay.
Fine. Mighty Beet sounds like a win. Strawberries, blueberries, cherries, chia seeds blended with cold-pressed beet, apple, lemon, and ginger.
I'll tell you what, I saw somebody walking around here with a beer, and God bless your brother.
That's the other
you
side
guys
of it.
need to stop this right now.
9 in the
Right
morning.
now.
He's walking around. The sun's out, and he's walking around with a nice cold beer.
This is not fair.
Bake. This is, we miss you.
We love you.
We love you very much. And it was the beer, I think, what set him off. It was the cold beer. He was fine with all the smoothie stuff.
What time we could get Baker to chime in and be like, all right, enough of this. I'm turning both your mics off. We're just doing my show for 2.5 hours.
The microphone button was on, but when beer was said, I chimed in.
That's enough. I've had enough of it. Bake. How many have you been to? Let me ask you this: What was your first experience with Jack's Place?
So, Bo, I have only ever been to 2 memorials, and both of them were as a fan. And
okay.
I have not, especially for like the last 15 years, in the past couple of years, when I've worked here at the Fan, I cannot come as a member of the media because I was always up in Akron for the state softball tournament for the high school. But those got pushed back this year a week. So I will be up there the next 2 weekends for softball and baseball, but I actually get to participate in the memorial. But I've only been twice ever.
Yeah. There is. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a place to congregate, and it is. Yeah, a beer right now feels aggressive, but at the same time, live. Get out there and live. Who are we to judge? Enjoy yourselves, and have the time of your life. In terms of, kind of some things, if you're making your way out here today, some things to kind of pay attention to from a tea time standpoint. And I heard Brother Bone talking about this. This is kind of the way they do it, and they're so smart with this when it comes to setting up the tee times for the tournament. So there's these money tee times that are kind of back to back to back, and so that's right around 10 o'clock. You get Shoffley and Spieth at 10:05. You got Hovland and Oberg at 10:15, and then Matsuyama and Morikawa at 10:30. And then once you get into the afternoon sessions, you have a double that's pretty good with Justin Thomas and Patrick Cantlay, and then you got Scotty and Sepp Straka coming in at 1:30. Scotty Vegas, you're a big Scotty. Who else do you? Obviously, that goes without saying. But who else do you like here? You're the expert du jour of this.
You know what's funny, Bo, is I've put together a couple different things. One is a make the cut parlay. So you got 72 guys here now.
Yep.
And so the make the cut is you have to be top 50 to make the cut.
Okay.
And so I did 6 or 7 guys to make the cut. Get decent odds on that.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, the entire lead up for me is I think Scotty wins this, and I think he wins it going away. So I think he wins this by 3 or more strokes. A couple tournaments ago, he won by 9. He won the PGA by 5. The only reason he didn't win last week was because he putted awful on Friday.
Yeah.
So I think he wins this week by 3+ strokes. And if you're wanting more juice, parlay him winning this week with him winning the U.S. Open.
Oakmont in 2 weeks.
Yep.
He's at a point where I don't like when anybody does the Tiger stuff, because I think sometimes we lose track of the fact that human being held the record low score and the record margin at all 4 majors at the same time. So like he lapped the field. That's not this, but his consistency on tour, week in and week out, the fact that he's in the mix always and wins most of the time is absolutely bonkers. And the fact that he's here is great. And we'll get into, Rory and some of that stuff. And, it's also, you cannot ignore the fact that these type of events because for the vast majority of out there listening, like, you are people who watch majors. You watch major golf. That's what most people who consume golf watch. They're not watching the tour week in and week out. You might watch this one because it's in your town. In the old days, you might have watched Firestone because you're familiar with it or it's in your state. There might be some other ones, TPC, whatever. But the majority of you out there watch the majors. And if you just watch the majors, I think you would probably not even realize that there's been a split between PGA and LIV, because they're all there. You see Koepka, you see DeChambeau, you see Dustin Johnson, you see Jon Rahm, you see them all. You feel it at these events. That's where you really feel it. And it is noticeable. It's very noticeable that those guys aren't here. And it's part of kind of this split that's happened in the sport that I hope somehow they find their way back, Reese.
Yeah, I wonder at what point it just becomes everybody's just kind of picking and choosing the events that they want to do from both.
I hope.
Right? If money gets poured into the PGA Tour, then do LIV guys get to come on board with this? Because there's 8 of the top 10 golfers in the world. You'd have 9 of the top 10 still TBD on what Rory would have done, but you would have had Bryson DeChambeau at this event. And along with him comes the fanfare, right? Comes that name that people are going to follow from 1 through to 18 almost on a daily basis. And even for the casuals, it's the name you know. And so in between beers, you're going to see what the heck Bryson's up to. And you still will this weekend because, shoot, Thursday's probably the biggest party before the 4th of July.
Oh, baby. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a scene. It'll be a scene around here. The guy who is in charge of it all is Dan Sullivan. He is the director of the Memorial Tournament. He is going to join us here coming up next. A lot of fun in store over the next 3 hours. We have your emails. We'll get to those at 10 o'clock. Paul Finebaum, eventful week for him down in Destin at the SEC meetings. Sankey was pretty direct in his intent, so we'll get an update on all of that and how it affects the Buckeyes coming up at 10:30. A little higher, lower coming up at 11 o'clock. We are off and running live at Jack's Place. The 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament is underway, and so is this fine program. You listen to Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of my favorite things, Wilson, is the look on people's faces when they see the end price for Pella windows.
Yeah, I'm always hearing, does it look like I'm wearing my money britches?
More like, I can't believe we get the Pella look and quality at these prices.
Oh, you went the other way with that. You're hearing good things. Oh, this is awkward.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through May 31st, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now with Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down per $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Get an Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Aaron. Hey, it's that time of year again.
What time is that?
The time all the air conditioners start breaking down.
Oh, that time. Yep, every year.
Get an Eco.
ECO. Like a swarm of bees. They all get together in a coordinated effort.
You mean the Queen air conditioner tells them all to break down?
Nah, they just get tuckered out in the heat, Aaron. Can we handle all the calls?
Sure, we have a swarm of highly trained coolness experts standing by.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
And we have $3.5 million in new service trucks to get them there the day you call.
The same day? Well, what if you don't call until...
We'll come as late as you'll stay up to let us in. Same day.
That explains all the revving engines.
It's like a beehive of activity, Jerry.
Do you know I invented that weird Scoopy thing you serve honey with?
You should invent something for ketchup, Jerry. It's America.
Ooh, now that's an idea.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
GetEco.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, greener, greener, better.
Austin and Berm are back with a new daily podcast, the ultimate OSU Football Insiders. You know it's refreshing to have some smart people working here from time to time.
The Beat with Austin and Berm on the 10 TV Plus app.
Subscribe today.
Got a teen athlete? Then you know putting in the hours is all part of the game. But did you know the same goes for learning how to drive? Because just like playing a sport, learning to drive takes practice. The only difference is the stakes are even higher. 50 hours of practice time driving with you? Worth every minute. Gear up at teachyourteentodrive.ohio.gov.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for today. We are expecting some clouds this morning with sunshine for the afternoon. High temperatures back into the mid-70s. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy skies with temperatures cooling down into the upper 50s. The clouds are ahead of our next chance of rain here as we go through the day on Friday. The rainfall could be heavy at times, especially as we look ahead to the morning hours of your Friday. High temperatures only into the 60s. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. News, special guests, and everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. You're listening to Bishop and Friends, live from the Memorial.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
All right, welcome back. Bishop and Friends here, broadcasting live at the 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament. Joined now by the tournament director, the great Dan Sullivan. 50,
morning, Bo.
50, buddy?
50.
Come on.
Feels good.
That's a real one.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you think about it. And how many have you been to?
This is 16.
Okay.
16 for me. I missed 2 in transition, and then 1 in transition, and then the COVID. I missed the COVID one.
I don't think I've ever missed one, by the way.
So all the way through. I was just going to ask you, so your first one is you're there day one.
Yes, but my journey is I was in 1978. I volunteered on a scoreboard when I was in the 6th grade. Okay, that's number one.
Well, that works.
And then I came back as a waiter in 1986, and then an intern in 87. Left for 4 years, worked for WTVN, and then came back here in 91. But in the areas that I didn't work out here, I didn't have an assignment. I was out here, messing around, having a blast.
It is. I called it this years ago. One of the first couple ones I did. I remember doing the show with Dom. We always did all the post-game stuff late on Channel 10. And I remember telling him, I'm like, to me, it feels like the unofficial start of summer in Central Ohio. That's what it is. It's like you can wear your shorts now.
Yes.
You wear your golf now. It's a little but it's actually perfect today.
Yeah,
like it's actually really nice. Yeah. And I think tomorrow's going to be great too. But that's what it kind of feels like to me. It's like we can all go outside now.
Yeah, we use it all the time. This is literally the launch point for summer.
It is.
And that's why we work so hard to make sure the date works for us on this tournament. Last year we were a week later, which was fine, but this week is better. And over the course of history here for 50 years, we've been as early as May 6th when it snowed the day before, and as late as the first week of June. So this time slot, the last week of May, first week of June, is absolutely perfect. Weather turns, people want to get out. It's their first chance to do something. Graduations are happening, school's out. Everything's happening at the same time, and this is a place for everyone to collect.
You think about what the tie-in with Memorial Day.
Yes.
It's just such a natural. It's just such a natural coming out of that. What you guys have done with, and we'll get to Barbara in a second because I can't imagine what that meant to Jack and all you guys to do that. But she's been ever present out here. But I mean, I think that's such a sweet spot for you guys too to be back in this week.
There's no question. Yeah,
this is your
I mean,
spot.
Monday for us was a great day this year. We had twice the crowd than we had the year before because it wasn't on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Memorial Day is the right day for us to kick off. We got the tie with the name and just the town, and then it just allows us to get into the week with a nice theme, and what we did yesterday with Barbara being the centerpiece was awesome.
How does that conversation, when did that first start, that maybe year 50 for Barbara?
So it started with the Captain's Club a year ago. Jack tells a story that his son Gary, their fourth kid, came to his dad and said, "Hey, has anybody ever thought about Barbara in the Captain's Club as being, or mom being in the honoree?" And that started a conversation a year ago last night. And it was an awesome scene. I was lucky enough to be in the room and see it all happen. The captains asked Barbara to leave the room so they could, Barbara excused herself to go do something for somebody else, which is what she does.
On brand.
Right. And she, while she was out of the room, the captains collected quickly and said, "Barbara's the right one for the 50th plane." And it was easy. And then from there, the announcement, the introduction to her of that, was emotional with Jack and Barbara, and then it's been emotional since. And yesterday was a great scene.
It's a pretty crazy thing. I was talking about this last week on the show for Jack, that here is a kid who had a gift, a kid who worked to curate that gift, and then turned it into a lifetime of a life. And she's been there the whole way. And you think about, and I was trying to think when you guys announced that, like, she's omnipresent here.
Yeah.
And has been for years.
Well, and they parlayed it into so much more. I mean, there's been plenty of people who have been great at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just kind of stayed in their lane and done that.
Yeah.
Right? And they just naturally did this. It's not like they sat around and built a PowerPoint and a strategy.
Right.
You know, they just naturally built into it over time because it's what they do. They're two Midwestern-minded people that wanted to, early on, felt like they had an opportunity to give back. They chose to give back in the support of children's health care. So they could have picked anything. They picked children's health care, and they got a lot of other people to come with them. And it's been incredible to see the growth of not only what the Memorial's done with Nationwide Children's Hospital and everything that we've accomplished, the $42 million plus that's coming and will keep on growing, the 3,700 volunteers out here do this because of them, right? I mean, we run a nice tournament and we feel good about the relationships that we have, but it's because of their the motivation that they have through Jack and Barbara, and then what Jack and Barbara have done with their own foundation, raised over $250 million.
Jeez.
Then we have this thing called Play Yellow that was created out of a conversation over cookies at their house that has generated $150 million across the country. So it's really crazy to think on their ability to affect people to give to a cause that they're so close to and have it come to reality in such a way that's affecting so many families across the country.
It's humbling to see, and when you walk in here, you see the impact and you see all the things that come about it. It's also really cool to me how much the game, the way that it's played, and how current Jack is on it, and how much he watches, and how much he's been the barometer of the sport his whole life, and he continues to be.
Yeah,
all these years later.
He claims that he didn't watch a lot of golf.
I don't buy that for a second.
I don't know how.
Because I hear things, and I'm like, he watched all of it.
He knows. He knows what's going on, and he understands. He understands the players, today's players, even though they're 60 years younger than him. Right? You think about that. The prime guys are 60 years younger than him. He understands what their mindset is. He understands what they're going through. The equipment may change. The golf courses may change, but the mindset doesn't. And he's able to have relevant conversations with those players and then also relay that to us to understand exactly what they're going through out there. And I think it's an incredible gift. He doesn't shy away from media. He goes into it. He wants to accept the questions. He always says that the media have a job to do, and I want to make sure that they get what they need to do their job. And it's really refreshing. Right?
It is. It's an old school way.
Yes.
And it's so refreshing. It's a perfect word for it. You guys had the great Pro-Am out here yesterday, kind of a who's who, everybody that you'd want out there. If you know me a little bit, if you were to guess who I would want to play with in the Pro-Am yesterday, which celebrity I would want to play with, do you have a guess?
Right, that's a great question. I'm looking through your mind right now.
There's one guy. I just would like to I want to hang out with Mr. Ridley.
Yes. There you go.
I want to hang
All
with
right.
him for 18 and just listen.
Yes.
I just want the stories.
Yeah.
That's what
Absorb
I want.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's all excited about Peyton Manning and Steph Curry and all this. I'm like, I want the guy who's running the Masters. I want to know the Augusta National.
No doubt.
Right?
That'd be a good one for me, too.
Yeah.
A really nice guy, and U.S. Amateur champ, and actually played here in 1976.
Did he really?
He played in the first Memorial Tournament.
Come on.
Uh-huh. He played with Jack Nicklaus. Yeah.
That's unreal.
He missed the cut, but he played in the first one.
Oh, my gosh.
He was
that
the
is so
75 U.S. Amateur champ.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I did not realize that part of it. Well, that makes it even more interesting.
No doubt.
Listen, you got the incredible tee time, some great pairings. I love how you guys do this. You got the Matsuyama.
Yeah, I
well,
got to look at it because I haven't seen it.
Shoffley and Spieth, for those
Yes.
coming out, 10:05, Shoffley and Spieth. Then you got Hovland, Oberg at 10:15. Then Matsuyama, Morikawa at 10:30. So some money ones right there.
Yes.
And then everyone wants to see Scotty, and he's at 1:30. Right, Justin Thomas goes at 1:20 with Cantlay, and then you got Scotty and Sepp at 1:30. So, and this is an incredible field, but you got those. I always like how
Those
you
are
guys
really
do
good
that,
pairings.
those money pairings.
Yeah, I like that pairing right there. That's really good with Justin and Patrick Cantlay. And everyone will be focused on Scotty for the right reason. I mean, he's an incredible talent.
There is feel like a rite of passage here. You come here, you win this place. To be a great one, you got to do it.
Right.
Tiger did it a lot. Scotty did it last year.
Yes.
Our Scotty says he's going to pick again this year. Hard to pick against him. By the way, I know you got to run. I think this is the best. This is among the best set of hats I've ever seen you guys have at the Merc
Nice.
Sense.
Love that.
A real nice mix of nostalgia.
Yep.
I loved them. I thought they were very strong. So, folks, on your way in, you'll see one right here.
They're
There's one
flying off the shelves.
So it's funny. I was in the main clubhouse gift shop this morning, and the guy's like, yesterday was crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're
it's awesome.
We couldn't be more proud and thankful for everyone who come out and support the tournament so much and really embrace this. It's their tournament.
Yeah.
We're just happy to run it, and we're looking forward to a great 4 days.
It's great seeing you, buddy.
Thanks,
Great
Bill.
dance.
Appreciate
Great
it.
to
Next
see
time
you.
we're talking lacrosse, kids lacrosse.
Yeah, you do a lot on that.
Right.
I have some thoughts.
You got it.
A busy sports night last night. We'll get into that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us, because you want your intimacy to be fantastic both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%, and because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you, which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. And for a limited time, we're offering new patients a free first visit to help you get the care you deserve. This includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose to demonstrate to you the amazing effectiveness of our treatments. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
97.1 The Fan. Memorial Leaderboard Update.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. About 20 guys out on the course for round 1 at Muirfield. The 50th Memorial Tournament is underway. We've got a 3-way tie atop the leaderboard right now. Justin Rose, Austin Eckroat, Adam Hadwin, and in fact, Ricky Fowler just had a birdie. So we've got 4 guys at 1 under par. Everybody else even par or +1 today. Max Grazerman and Wyndham Clark getting ready 10:30 to tee off. Some notables coming up later today. 3 big groups in a row, starting at 10:05 as Jordan Spieth and Xander Schauffele tee off. Then at 10:15, it's Victor Hovland and Ludwig Oberg. 10:30, Hideki Matsuyama and Colin Morikawa. World number 1, Scotty Scheffler, tees off at 1:30 this afternoon. This one's sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Rates as low as 5.54% when you refinance your auto loan with BMI Federal Credit Union.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
And here's what's up on a Thursday edition of the program, broadcasting live. The 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament is underway out at Jack's Place at Muirfield Village. You heard Bake there with the early leaderboard, pretty dang good early leaderboard. Fowler, Rose in the mix. I mean, that's about as good as you get. It's very, very early. We're 4 or 5 holes in. So the very first tee time was at 7:50. So we're a little hour and 40 minutes into the proceedings here. And as Bake mentioned, some big tee times coming up around 10 o'clock, and then Scotty in the 1 o'clock hour. So that's what you have to look forward to if you're trying to matriculate your way out here. We had Inevitable. We talked about this. I think it was yesterday or Monday, or it was probably Tuesday.
Probably for the past week, it feels like.
It does, Reese.
With these two teams.
It does. There was an inevitability to Florida winning on the ice. It felt inevitable. It feels very much like they're going to see Edmonton, which is, I think, ideal at this point based on the 4 teams that are left. That feels ideal to me. What's crazy about this, so when I tuned this in, it was 2-0 Canes by the time I started to check it out. And then I played the Beamsy was on me about trying to play me in FIFA. Little did I realize that apparently he's been playing FIFA for like 3 months. Like, they'd never beat me in it. And he's like, Dad, will you play me? Like, all right, fine, I'll play you. I threw the controller.
Now it's my time, old man.
I'm like, wow, dude. Yep. What have you been doing for the last 3 months? Apparently playing a lot of FIFA. He was up 3-0 Munich against Madrid, which I've never lose with Madrid. So I threw the controller with 60 minutes in and said, "That's it. I'm done." He's like, "You can't leave. I don't get the victory." And I'm like, "I don't care. That's it. I'm not going to continue. You played too much of this." So then when I came back, all of a sudden it's 2-2. And then the inevitability happens, and the Panthers win 5-3. So you'll find out if Edmonton can close the deal tonight. That is at 8 o'clock, their series with the Stars. But it's heavy for Bob, isn't it? You start to think about what he's starting to track down, and he's got the personal accolades, kind of the one hole in the resume. Here there just wasn't a whole lot of postseason success. Some of that could have been because of the teams he was on. But now, all of a sudden, you've got what happened in Tampa Bay in that series all those years ago. You got a cup, and now potentially another one. So this could be pretty heavy for our old buddy Bob.
You're going to see Sergei Bobrovsky in the rafters of 2 different locations, Nationwide Arena and the Amalie Arena in Sunrise, Florida, because the inevitability that it has the Panthers, their 3rd straight Stanley Cup Finals appearance, it's going to be the 2nd year in a row you're going to see Bob skate around the rink in a Florida Panthers sweater with that cup. And it's going to hurt a little bit for Jackets fans, but I'm going to feel pretty good watching that happen. Because I loved Sergei Bobrovsky.
I do too.
I thought it was a good mutual parting, considering what he wanted versus what the team wanted. But that's where my rooting interest is. I know Brad Marchand, the last person I want to see get a cup, but Seth Jones is part of that Florida Panthers squad, and it does point to serious organizations, right? When Bob was on the Blue Jackets, they weren't as serious as what the Florida Panthers are and have become in the past couple of seasons.
Yeah.
I think Sergei Bobrovsky, as of right now, goes down as the best Blue Jacket in history just because the 2 Vezinas and what he did in that Tampa series was so good.
I agree.
Man, when Bob is at the top of his game, I don't know if we've ever seen anyone better. I mean, when he's playing his best, he's up there with the Patrick Walls and the Martin Brodeurs, and I know that's high praise, and he's not there because he's not always at his best. He goes through stretches where he's up and down. I mean, when he left the Blue Jackets, it sure seemed like for 2 seasons there, he wasn't nearly worth the $10 million that they were paying him. But, man, the past couple years he sure has been, and especially in the playoffs he has been.
I think you're right on. I think that he is the best to ever wear the sweater. And the only one I have pushback for is Fedorov, but I don't know if we even really count that because it was such a brief amount of time. And he's a first ballot all timer, so he's probably the one. But in terms of a guy who actually was a Blue Jacket, it is Bob. And if he gets the second, then he starts to get even into that category. I mean, you talk about the Vezinas and now two-time Cup-winning goalie. I mean, that starts to feel like it.
Would you say Fedorov's Columbus highlight is having dinner with Anna Kournikova downtown?
I'll tell you what the Columbus highlight for Sergei Fedorov was for me. I was visiting my wife. She had moved up here first, and I was at Hyde Park on the Cap and watching sports and having a steak, and I was sitting at the bar, and I looked over into the corner, and I went, my God, that's Sergei Fedorov. And no one was near him. He was completely unbothered. And I thought, that's got to be so refreshing. I mean, that was the peak. That was when he was with Kournikova. Like, all of that stuff was happening. And here he is just sitting having a steak at Hyde Park on the Cap. And I thought, God, that's pretty surreal. I didn't have that on my bingo card.
Bo, you're right as far as historic. Yeah. Fedorov is the best player that's ever put a Jackets jersey on.
That's the way to frame it.
But we didn't get peak Fedorov. We got Fedorov at the end of his career, and if you remember, we were playing him on defense some, even because the defense was so bad. But we got prime Bob. We got Bob in the peak of his career. That's the difference there.
Yeah, and I think he's the answer to the question. It's just a matter of there was that little brief stint with Sergei as well. So while that one was interesting for a while, the NBA wasn't interesting for a millisecond. It was cooked at the end of one. It was as inept, lack of give a damn performance. I mean, I know OKC is good, but that's not what we saw last night. That wasn't that. That was we've had enough.
That was pathetic.
Yeah, that's it. We're fine. We're going to go fishing. We're good. We've had enough from Minnesota.
3-2-1 Cancun.
That's all that was. That was beat down Central. It does feel like that for the Thunder, the thing they had to get past was Denver, and then once they dealt with that, the rest of this is going to be smooth sailing. There was the blowout win in Minnesota in Game 3, but other than that, this is pretty comprehensive. I mean, the score in this thing was 26-9 after one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you outscore them 26-9 in the first, then you tack on a 39-23 second. And you go, well, okay, I guess that's the end of it. And it just, we've seen this sometimes, and I always come back to it's the three-point shooting, that's such an incredible part of it. So much of it relying on the jump shot, and when the faucet turns off on that, you can get these waterfall effects like you had last night with OKC.
Yeah, Timberwolves shot 12 of 39 from the field in the first half. Minnesota had 14 turnovers in the first half. You're not winning a regular season game with those stats. Nevertheless, a deciding Game 5 in the Western Conference Finals. Regardless of who wins in the East, the finals are going to begin Thursday, June 5th, but inevitability feels like the word here with the NHL and the NBA. The Knicks are going to be dismissed by Indiana tonight. That game's at 8 o'clock, and I don't know if the Knicks are going to quit quite like the Timberwolves did. Maybe there's a little bit more give a damn. But
it's at the Garden, right?
Tonight? It is. Madison Square Garden's going to host. You'll see Ben Stiller and everybody else. And that, for me, I get a little bit of schadenfreude watching those guys who shouted all of that money. Just, I mean, 25 years they hadn't been in this spot, and that will continue
I'll tell
in 2025.
You can't claim a Knicks fan is bandwagon, though.
No, it's true.
That's a choice.
That is true.
That is a choice. That is no championship since '73. That's almost never on a big stage. And yet I do feel like for the friends of mine who are New Yorkers that I've known through the years, it feels like the Knicks walk into any room with like the Yankees and the Giants in that town, like they're that popular, and yet they really haven't done anything significant. But I really don't know if anyone is stopping this OKC thing, which kind of got me thinking about what we've seen in the last 25 years. You think about the head start that the Vegas Knights got and played for a cup.
I don't want to think about that.
Right away, and then won one.
I hate thinking about that.
Yeah, that really sucks. There was a time, and we've lived it. We lived it with our Columbus Blue Jackets. You lived it if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, where if you were an expansion team, there was a pound of flesh that you had to give to get in the mix. Mm-hmm. And I'm aware that the Thunder are not an expansion team, and I think that's what makes it even more painful. If, for example, you are someone, and there probably aren't a whole lot of them out there listening, but who is from the Pacific Northwest or from that part of the country, the idea
they seethe
that you handed them Durant, Westbrook, and then inevitably Harden and Ibaka, and you had that run. I mean, they've had 3 MVPs.
Yeah.
They've had 3 different MVPs in Oklahoma City, and now they have this run that it's set up now. This isn't a Durant, Westbrook, Harden thing where we're going to have to trade a guy. They're not going to trade anybody. They're going to keep all of these guys. They have all of these picks that they can add to the roster. No one's ever going to go to OKC as a free agent. So, but you can now package those picks for players on contracts. They're in this spot for the next decade.
Yeah, like 3 first-round picks until 2031 is insane.
Crazy.
But a good job by that organization, and it's I don't want to poo-poo the ratings too much on what'll be a Pacers Thunder NBA Finals.
It'll be tough.
I'll be watching because it'll be on ABC, and so it'll be easily accessible. And they're just going to shoot the lights out of the building.
Yeah,
each game.
Yeah, I hope that Indiana can be frisky and we get a series out of it. They seem like they have the attitude for it.
Oh, yeah.
They have the chestiness for it. But that OKC situation is absolutely wild. So you have one half of the Stanley Cup Finals are set, one half of the NBA Finals are set, and the other halves will potentially be done tonight.
Just real quick, Paul Finebaum confirmed at 10:30 this morning. He's had a really busy 3 weeks. I think he did. Nick Saban in Birmingham did like a charity golf tournament, and then he's moving, and then he was at SEC meetings this week in Destin. Now he's heading back to North Carolina to, I think, unpack.
So, and he will join us at 10:30.
Yep.
And among the things we will be talking about is kind of the future of college football and an SEC that has kind of thrown down the gauntlet on what they want this thing to look like. They've said all the quiet parts out loud, and we will get to that coming up at 10:17. In addition to that, one of the other big stories coming out of there is an alliance. What's your word on this?
The alliance?
Your alliance word? We're back to alliance, potentially an alliance.
Can't call it that. We got to workshop something better here, Brian Kelly.
Got to work something a little better. Looking for an alliance on the scheduling side of things. Potentially, could the Buckeyes be playing an SEC opponent every single year? We'll get to that story coming up next. Bishop and Friends live at the 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament out at Jack's Place right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, Kroger brand 80% lean ground beef is on sale. 3-pound rolls are only $3.77 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Get ready for summer parties with big savings happening now at Menards. Shelter Logic canopies provide shade and weather protection for tailgating and outdoor gatherings. Their heavy-duty steel frames have slip-fit connections for quick and easy assembly. Save big money and check out our great selection of canopies in-store. Plus, find more great deals in our weekly flyer on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
When you join the plus side with AAA, that's all you'll have to do. Or you could learn to change your own tire.
Hey fam, what's up? Today I'm gonna teach you to change a flat. Before we start, make sure it's not raining, or hailing, or lightning.
You can have AAA find you the right insurance policy, or you can shop for your own.
Hello?
I'm with Mega Insure. You requested a quote?
Yes, 3 months ago.
You could have our travel advisors plan your dream vacation, or book your own travel.
Woo! Panama City Beach! Spring break!
I thought you said we were going to Panama.
Wait, there's a difference?
Skip the hard work. On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Hi, this is Ron from the Good Feet store. Are you standing on painful feet all day? Don't lose hope. We want to help you live without pain. Discover your options and visit goodfeet.com. Or stop in today at the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway in Grove City.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Good morning, friends. You're listening to a special edition of Bishop and Friends, live from the Memorial.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating and Cooling, and sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
And we are broadcasting live out here at the Memorial Tournament at Jack's Place in Muirfield Village, the 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament. Your internet still good, Reese?
Yeah, I'm good.
Mine I just got bumped off. You hate to see it.
Thoughts and prayers.
Hate to see it. Do you have I know that do you have a leaderboard up there?
I do.
Pull one up for me. Tell the people where we are here.
I'm going to go with
2 hours
6
in.
golfers is a gaggle. So Ricky Fowler, Justin Rose among those 6 at 1 under. Fowler's through 6 on the day. Brant Snedeker's at even. He's through 8. You got Tony Finau. You ask where is he now? Even through 5.
Did that guy do the Masters thing again?
I didn't see it.
Scotty, did you see? Did that kid in Memphis do the kid?
How long can you keep something like that up, though? Because it felt
pressure to do that.
It got very NWO, where you just kept adding members, and now all of a sudden, like, Buff Bagwell is part of the group, and I'm like, I don't recognize this thing. You jump the shark, and then you jump that shark.
Hey,
if
guys,
you had Buff Bagwell on your bingo card, you just won. Good job.
Guys, it may be the internet out there, or for you guys, whatever. I have 2 guys at -2 right now.
So that's
Ricky
what it is.
Fowler and Justin Rose are your leaders at -2.
Justin Rose, one of the true gentlemen of the sport, was a winner here. And when you were a winner here, and I'm sure it's still this way, you always do a sit-down interview with Channel 10 at the end because we had the broadcast rights to it, of course. And Justin Rose is among the more polite, nice dudes I've ever met in doing those interviews. Ricky Fowler, to me, it almost feels like this tournament was kind of a launching point for him 15 years ago. Scotty's shaking his head. You remember that when he first showed up in the long hair and the all orange and those flat brim Puma hats with the Puma jumping out. Those hats, he would wear those, and the kids they were out here by the billions. Yep. The kids in those hats. You remember that, Scotty, with those hats?
Oh, no doubt.
They'd
And actually, Bo, it's amazing because you still walk around, and still, he's like the most popular guy. Like,
they love him.
And we were watching him yesterday, and he probably spent an hour just signing autographs. I mean, it's impressive.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I remember that from when he was a kid. I mean, he's like 20 or whatever it was when he was first. Well, probably a little older than that because he played at Oklahoma State. But, like, I remember him in the old autograph thing over there. He would just sit down on a stool, and he'd sign forever.
Oh, yeah.
He never would stop. The other thing that I thought was kind of fun about that was those hats were so popular that the next year Jack did his own version. So there was actually a Golden Bear flat brim with the bear on it. They sold out quick. But I remember Jack doing it the next year. He's like, I think maybe there's something to those hats, those flat brim hats.
As a loud human, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right, so the SEC meetings down in Destin over the last couple of days. This matters in such a big way because the thing that we care about most is college football, Buckeye football, and all of that. And we do know that the future of this sport is going to be decided by the powers that be in the Southeastern Conference and by the powers that be in the Big Ten Conference. Their approaches to solving the problem that is college football at the moment could not be more different. The Big Ten had their meetings 2 weeks ago. You did not hear a single word from it. Not one. I couldn't tell you what Tony Petitti thinks about anything because I didn't read it, I didn't see it, I didn't hear it. It happened in a vacuum, it happened in a closet, and that's the way the Big Ten likes to do things. They like to do things quiet behind closed doors. The SEC is your loud neighbor throwing the party every Friday night. They're every Friday night. They are there. They are loud. You will notice them. They will tell you their intent very, very directly. And they've done that all week long. And so we'll get some perspective on that from Paul Finebaum, who is down there all week, coming up at 10:30. And you'll hear from Greg Sankey on kind of where we're heading in terms of the future of the sport. But the other thing that came out of this, and this came from Brian Kelly, and one of the things that we know wants to happen is the television partners of the SEC want them to go to 9 conference games similar to the Big Ten. The other thing that is wanted by both of those leagues, and potentially this could be a bridge to those two kind of being the only conferences that matter, is a scheduling agreement between the two leagues. So, and we kind of have an informal one now in the fact that we're going to play Texas the next 2 years. You got Alabama after that. Tennessee in the old days was on the schedule, and so you've seen some of this through the years. LSU's Brian Kelly available down in Destin in the Panhandle of Florida this week and had this to say. Our first goal will be wanting to play Big Ten teams as coaches. I can speak for the room. We want to play Big Ten teams, but you've got to get a partner. You've got to get a partner who says we're in for that. So we've made our voice clear. Our athletic directors know that as well, that we would like that. Our commissioner obviously heard us well. The rest will be up to what gets negotiated. He then added the Big Ten right now holds it on the SEC. They've won the last 2 national championships. That's the reality of it. We want to get challenged in that regard, and we'd like to be able to get that done. That's up to the commissioner and the ADs, but that's the wish of the room.
What a delicious statement.
Isn't that something?
By the end, the Big Ten right now holds it on the SEC. You've been hearing for the last 15 years about how it just means more. In the last 2 years, they have been held out of the national championship game. And all they can do over the past couple of weeks is just kind of whine and complain about their position in what's going to be an expanded college football playoff. And they hold some of the cards, but the Big Ten holds some of the cards as well. And it goes to your point of wanting the Big Ten to give a little bit more in terms of making it a big deal. I know some people don't think sport A is a big deal. Like people don't think baseball is a big deal. People don't think soccer is a big deal. But those sports have done a disservice to themselves by not making themselves a big deal. That's where it starts. I think that's where it's got to start for the Big Ten, because you hear from Brian Kelly, you hear from Greg Byrne, the athletic director of Alabama, you hear from Greg Sankey. Every single time there's a thing, there's Greg Sankey's head.
It's ready.
And he's complaining about something not being fair with his conference.
Yeah.
And while we sit there and roll our eyes in the back of our head about it, it's pushing forward his agenda because he works for the athletic directors of that conference.
First of all, there's a lot of issues here. Number one, there's not as many teams in that conference as there is in this one. So someone's going to get left out, which is fine. You can have Purdue and Rutgers, whatever.
Can they?
No, but they just won't participate.
I thought you wanted to send them to the SEC. No. Absolutely.
I'd like to send them to the Big 12.
Give them the New York market. I hear they're pining for that.
You can take Maryland, too.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to cull this thing down a little bit. But from the Ohio State perspective, and that's the perspective that we view all of this from, this is so great. You're going to get a steady diet, if this happens, of LSU and Georgia and Tennessee and Florida and Alabama and Texas A&M and Oklahoma. That's 8 schools off the top of the head that you'd love to see the Buckeyes do home and away with all of those teams.
And the one thing that when I was reading Brian Kelly's comments, I thought it interesting because of where Brian Kelly used to coach.
Yeah.
And this, for me, means that if the SEC moves to 9 games and they do this Big Ten SEC challenge, there's 10 games already in your regular season, plus 2 cupcakes. If the Big Ten of the SEC do that, that pushes Notre Dame out. And you go to the Irish and you say, join one of these conferences or have fun playing the Drek of the Mid-American Conference and the other ACC schools not named Clemson.
I never thought of that. Spite from Kelly and Notre Dame.
Be as Tom Petty as you want. You hold the cards the two conferences do. Notre Dame can sit there and they can talk about their gigantic NBC deal. And I know, Notre Dame fans are fine people, but if you're trying to truly leverage what's best for your conference, for both the Big Ten and the SEC, it's got to be at least trying to shake your big stick at Notre Dame.
Bake, if this happens, who do you want to see the Buckeyes play first in a home and home, other than the two that have just come? Because we got Texas, we got Bama.
It's Bama, just because of the parallels that they've been. That's mine.
I think if you do, they're on the schedule, so we got Texas, Bama.
I think there's a Georgia after.
Is there a Georgia? Yeah, so we're already doing that. To me, LSU would be, I'd love to go down to Baton Rouge on a Saturday night. That to me feels like that would be pretty money.
If that happens, me and my buddy will be there because we've already talked about, even if it's not an Ohio State game, going to Death Valley at night. So
live show from there that Friday.
That's right.
I got a thumbs up from Fish. It's already in the books. All right, Ross.
We're on it.
Let's get that done.
That would be a fun one if that happens. And I think all of this is a win for college football. You'll hear from Greg Sankey. He was actually on with Paul Finebaum about what the SEC wants, which is basically code for what's going to happen in college football in conjunction with the Big Ten. We will get to that coming up at 10:17. Finebaum at 10:30. Coming up next, your emails. We are broadcasting live from Jack's Place, 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament. It is underway. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common man, radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same-game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, Go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking, an account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Justin Rose is your leader as the 50th Memorial rolls along out at Muirfield. The Englishman is 2 under through 6. Ricky Fowler's 1 back of the lead at 1 under. Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele are set to tee off in a few minutes. Victor Hovland and Ludwig Oberg will go in about 15. Defending champion Scotty Scheffler will begin his first round this afternoon at 1:30. In the NHL last night, the Panthers made it 3 straight Stanley Cup final appearances. Florida beat Carolina 5-3 in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Edmonton could advance to meet them with a win in Dallas tonight for Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. In baseball Wednesday, the Thunder advanced to the NBA Finals with a dominant 129-94 win over the Timberwolves. This update sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Oh, look, we let Bo out of his cage. You're listening to Bishop and Friends live from the Memorial.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
I mean, cage. I mean, at worst, it's like the prison that they go to at the end of Wolf of Wall Street. At worst, that's what I'm dealing with.
Playing pickleball with the other inmates.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing pickle. I mean, I'm living fine. I'm in confinement, but it's,
Martha Stewart kind of jail.
This is easy time. 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament is underway out at Jack's Place. We will be out here today, tomorrow, all weekend long. All the programs will be. So come on out and say hi. It's gorgeous. It's a perfect day for it. Paul Finebaum going to join us coming up at 10:30. Between now and then, let's hit a little bit of that mailbag.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more. You got to get it up, and the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. Again.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
All right, some good ones here. Let's start with Scott, loyal listener Scott. The subject is the Athletics top 25s. Hey, Bo, I heard the Athletics top 25 football games of the 2000s discussed on your show and other outlets. Did I miss something, or did they fail to include the Ohio State-Bama playoff game in 2014? 2 premier coaches of the past 50 years, numerous future All-Pros. Henry's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Cooper is borderline. Huge plays, all-time venue. I've been to lots of big games, and I can assure you none felt as anticlimactic as that title game in Jerry's World a week and a half later. As the top 25 players, let me just parenthetic before he gets into the players. I couldn't agree with you more that you beat Bama in their place. It's the greatest sporting event I've seen live, was that one. Because of all of the things that Scott mentioned here, and it was so anticlimactic to play Oregon. What's crazy is Ohio State was a dog to Oregon in that game, and folks from Oregon really thought they were going to boat race the Buckeyes. And I remember going to the media days and just seeing the size of the Oregon offense and defensive line and going, this is not going to end well. This just isn't. I remember doing radio in Portland the day of the game, and they're like, do you think these Buckeyes have a chance? And I'm like, yeah, I think they have
just
a chance. So I agree with you. It was incredibly anticlimactic. He continues, as for the top 25 players, I tend to agree that Cam Newton's single season doesn't merit a number one slot, as spectacular as it was. But if you guys are looking for a show topic this summer, we always are, you could do an all-time sliding doors players list, of which he is a number one. If he never leaves Florida, imagine the fate of Meyer, Saban, and eventually OSU if Urban gets his hands on him as a starter for 2 years. The only comparison I can make is if Coop gets Woodson to OSU back in the mid-90s. That's a good one.
I was wondering maybe Franklin and Fields.
Franklin and Fields is one.
If that marriage happens,
we bring up that a lot because that's he finally got his quarterback, right, and then he lost him. So Cam stole a laptop. That's why he wasn't in Florida. He stole a laptop and he got kicked out of school and ended up at, I want to say, Blinn Junior College in Mississippi, and then eventually to Auburn. The crazy thing, and when people talk about Urban Meyer and what he's capable of, this is my favorite story to tell. So he had Tim Tebow on campus and was a gadget player as a true freshman on a national championship team, but he was the heir apparent. So Tebow played his freshman year. The following recruiting class, Urban Meyer landed Cam Newton, 5-star quarterback out of Atlanta, and a kid named John Brantley, who was a 5-star quarterback out of Ocala. He was the number one high school quarterback in the country. He was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. He landed 2 5-star quarterbacks the year after landing Tebow.
Mm-hmm. Life in the big city.
Think about that.
That's what he said every year.
That is a nuts back-to-back, because it's not like Cam was going to play. Cam played that 1 year at Florida. Tebow won the Heisman. So he sat and watched as Tebow won the Heisman. Like, when was he going to play? Like, Tebow's a 4-year guy. Was he really going to sit for 3 years at Florida to play 2? I mean, it's a crazy circumstance. Now, Brantley did. He ended up being the guy, and his career was fine, but it wasn't certainly on the level of the others.
Think of the miscreants on those Urban Meyer Florida teams, and Cam Newton got kicked out.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot going on.
Taking a laptop.
There was a lot going on at that time. This one from Tim. The subject is Aaron Rodgers. Hey, Bo, always enjoy your show, but I'm amazed that no one has ever mentioned the fact that Aaron Rodgers was released with a post-June 1 designation. Agreeing with you all, what a weirdo Rodgers can be, but I expect that we will hear him announce next week that he will be playing for Pittsburgh, and if not even better, as a Browns fan, it's nice to see them with a more dysfunctional plan at quarterback than we do. Go Browns, go Bucks. Tim. It's very possible, but the one thing I would say is that post-June 1 designation has not stopped folks from agreeing to contracts.
Yeah, you can still make announcements.
You could do that.
You can do everything but put the ink to the paper.
Yeah.
And it does, I mean, as we're slowly waddling towards a Rodgers in a Steelers uniform, yeah, I mean, but don't let facts get in the way of a good, fun narrative.
I also don't know if that would what I'm not certain about that is if that there would be... Would there be any penalty to Pittsburgh if he had signed earlier and been at OTAs? I don't know enough about that.
It would probably not allow him to be at OTAs. I know there was a lot of grief that some had made this week about him not attending those, but I don't think he'd be allowed to until a full release and then a signing. So that post-June 1, well, it is May 29th. So maybe like the June 7th through the 5th. I think Pittsburgh has another set of OTAs.
Well, they have the mandatory minicamp coming up, too.
Okay.
So both of those
he won't be there for that. It's mandatory. He's going to make a show of it.
The one thing I think I'm tired of is this notion of these are OTAs, but that we pay attention who's there and who's not. And then we hold it against the folks who are or not. It's optional.
Did you love the Myles Garrett discussion yesterday, him being in Japan and while he wasn't?
Loved it.
At OTAs, does Myles Garrett need to go and run drills against air?
I do
No.
Yeah, and how many times can Stefanski say, it's optional, it's optional, it's optional? Now, I do think Deontay Johnson not being there is of note because Kevin Stefanski had said that OTAs are really important for him, trying to resuscitate his career. So I think him not being there is noteworthy.
That didn't surprise me.
Stay away from former Steelers wide receivers.
The Steelers and the Texans didn't want him after they, won a playoff game because he made a scuttlebutt in the locker room after they're trying to celebrate a first-round win. Like, Deontay Johnson's there because the Browns don't have any money to pay anybody else.
This one from Mike. Subject, the Memorial Ryder Cup. He writes, Bo, always great show. Don't forget that PGA players earn Ryder Cup standing points. 1 point for each $1,000 earned. They got 2 months left to earn points. The Memorial champ gets $4 million and 4,000 Ryder Cup points. Right now, Russell Henley is 6th with 7,900 points. Whoever wins the Memorial gets a bunch of points and maybe earns his way onto the Ryder Cup team. Another reason this week golf is such a big deal. Good point out of Mike there. This one from Joe. The subject is Caitlin Clark. By the way, did you see she was inactive? She's dealing with an injury for 2 weeks, but she still showed up and signed autographs in Baltimore.
Megastars.
Very, very cool. I heard yesterday that 17% of all fouls in the WNBA are against Caitlin Clark, and 80% of those are from the Chicago Sky. I don't think those numbers are true.
It sounds good. Let's run with it.
But you found it on, you sent in an email.
It has to be true.
So it's got to be true.
Yeah.
It's got to be true.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. This is just one. This is a good one from Kaylin. 17-year-old. This is just a public service, and we're happy to do it. 17-year-old wrestler Marilyn Maurer of Delaware, Meyer maybe, has earned a spot on Team Ohio for the 2025 USA Wrestling Junior Nationals in Fargo. State runner-up, 2-time conference champ, now seeking community support. Congratulations, I would just say to you, Marilyn. And if you want to support, there's a GoFundMe there to be able to do that. So happy to pass that along for the folks that are there. Look at this guy.
This is the mayor. Sir?
What are you doing? What are you doing here? God. He's a little... You ever watch that movie Snatch?
Yes.
He's a little bit like Bricktop out here. Why would I need to dress up? Why are you in pants?
It's a radio show.
It's a radio show.
Who's looking at us?
Where are they going to go?
You got to have comfortable shoes out here. Walking hills.
You've been in this business a long time. You can't yell things without a mic. No one can hear you.
We are kind of just shouting.
Be better. Can you be better? Poor Meredith. You're going to show her... What are you going to show her? Are you going to steal some stuff?
Do we throw a microphone at him? No, can we not do the thievery on the air?
No, I told him we're going to get you involved in the theft. You're going to love it. It's so much fun.
Allegedly.
It's just joyriding some Lexuses from Jermaine. It's nothing you haven't done before. It's fine. Broadcasting for the 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament out at Jack's Place. Big news out of the South this week. Greg Sankey, commissioner of the SEC, with some very pointed comments on the future of the sport and what is expected and what is necessary. Also, some comments from Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte on the Ohio State-Texas kickoff. We will share that from you, that with you coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Get Mega May discounts at Coghlan Kia. Lease a new Kia K4, only $89 a month for 24 months. Or get 1.9% financing for 48 months. Or $2,000 bonus cash on a new 25 Kia Sportage or Sorrento. Visit CoglanKia.com.
Coghlan has the car for you.
$49.99 to a tiny 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents per mile over. Tax, title, and license fees exclusive. No security deposit. $400 disposition fee at lease end. 1.9 for 48 equals 2165 for 1,005. With approved credit through KML. Residency restrictions may apply. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for details. N6225.
Open a money market account at Kemba Financial Credit Union and enjoy a 4.00% APY intro rate until April 2026, 6 times the national average. Maintain easy access to your funds and secure financial stability. Don't miss out. Offer expires July 31st, 2025. Visit Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Advantage status and $5,000 minimum and $1 million maximum deposit required. APY equals annual percentage yield. Comparison based on FDIC average. Federally insured by NCUA.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Visit shelterinsurance.com to find an agent to help you pick a policy that's right for you. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we're at Muirfield Village talking Memorial with Dave Shedlowski of Golf Digest, plus Andy Montgomery on Monday's U.S. Open qualifier at Kinsale.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick, Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
As this school year comes to a close, please join me in thanking the dedicated teachers and education support professionals who have poured their hearts into their students every day this year to give them what they need to succeed. We have to turn our appreciation into action. Contact your lawmakers today and tell them to support our public schools.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunshine for the afternoon. High temperatures back into the mid-70s. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy skies with temperatures cooling down into the upper 50s. The clouds are ahead of our next chance of rain here as we go through the day on Friday. The rainfall could be heavy at times, especially as we look ahead to the morning hours of your Friday. High temperatures only into the 60s. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan. Bo Bishop is here in real life? Must be Memorial Week. Broadcasting live from the Memorial Tournament. It's Bishop and Friends.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
All right, Tiberi has become such a big deal, and well, hopefully we'll have a little hijinks with him tomorrow. But he's become such a big deal that he's now hosting events out here. So
yes. He's the mayor.
Well, he is. Yeah. That's it. So he's out here. 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament is underway out at Muirfield Village. It's nice. It's a really good day for it. The sun is out. There's a nice little breeze. You're not going to have a whole lot of sweating going on. This is a nice temperature to come out and watch a little bit of golf out here at Muirfield Village, the 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament. Of course, I should mention we are sponsored and so proudly by our friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. I got to actually head to Diamond Cellar Easton to do a little pickup here this afternoon. I have that to look forward to, which is nice. Greg Sankey. Well, let's do Chris Del Conte. This is the Texas athletic director was asked about the Ohio State-Texas kick time. And he went on the record on this, and he had this to say. Why would I want to move the game to Sunday night and have a short week for our boys who were just told we're kicking off at high noon? It was never about moving the time of the day. It was just, hey, do you want to move the day? And I go, we're not moving. We're contractually obligated to this day. That was it. But, the craziness of, oh, my God, they said no. I just said no to Sunday. I got to go to church. I mean, hot dang. What a line out of this guy. That's the first time I read that.
That's about as southern as it gets. I got to go to church that day. We're not trying to play a football game.
That is so good. That is so good.
It's the right thing for him to say. It's the right move for Texas to make.
Of course it is. I think what attempted to happen here was let's now blame Texas for this.
Oh, yeah.
For us not paying attention to fine print and the fact that our major television provider wants these games all at noon. And you can ask Texas, but it's certainly their prerogative to say no. And as I said earlier this week on the show, or could have been even last week, the reality is that Texas and Ohio State recruit the same players. And if Texas can keep Ohio State from having a A++ recruiting environment by playing it at night, then they should do so. If they can do so, they should. Because I'm going to tell you this, Texas, Ohio State next year is going to be at 8 o'clock, and it's going to be in prime time, and it's going to be at night. That's a lock. So they're going to get their big night, and by saying no, they're preventing Ohio State from having their own.
Yeah, it goes back to just our conversations about the athletic directors and doing what's best for their constituents. Well, for Del Conte here, he's got to do what's best for the Texas Longhorns. And it stinks. It's going to stink to high hell when this thing kicks off August 30th at noon. Right. It just – I think what they're doing is they're leaving some time between some – I guess the anger's been out. And so I think they're just letting it dissipate a little bit before announcing the final thing. Then you take some of the slings, or at least Fox can deflect to Texas. But it's only a matter of time. What, you think maybe a month till they actually make it official?
The only thing I wonder is if they will try to say that they're going to play Penn State at night as a Band-Aid.
They might throw something else out before that.
Yeah.
Just to be like, please don't.
Here's an olive branch.
Yell at us too much.
Play this one at night.
Guys, I think we're supposed to get some of those at noon today, actually.
Are they going to give some of those announcements?
Oh, yeah. Do the announcement at noon.
I think that's what it is. I think we're getting some of those today, I've heard.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, nobody wants it there, but there's nothing you can do. You signed on the line, which is dotted. You took the money, and this is what it's for. And so if Texas didn't want to play nice, that's certainly their prerogative not to. And from a competitive standpoint, I get it. By the way, if you're someone who's looking for proof that night games are a more hostile environment than noon, all you need to know is Texas would much rather play this at noon. That tells you all you need to know. So if you want to know when's the toughest time to play or what's the most intimidating or the best, and they're trying to keep that from you, it's night. Night wins over and over and over on that side of things. Greg Sankey had a very eventful couple of days down in Destin. It's a lovely place to be, great place to vacation, and he was available at the start of the SEC meetings, and he was available
every day
at the close of the SEC meetings. You want to talk? You got a microphone and a camera? Yep, I'm in. So he had a lot to talk. Let's start, and this was on Paul Finebaum's show, and Paul's going to join us in 8 minutes, on Greg Sankey and the idea of autonomy division within the NCAA and perhaps it being the best path forward.
In our room, there are those who ask, does the NCAA still work for us? Why are we still in the NCAA? So we talked about a decision-making working group. Chancellor Boyce from Ole Miss and myself are on that. What is our position? We felt, and I think we still feel, that an autonomy division within the NCAA is the best direction. So that's a decision we've made before. How do we position it as this conversation takes place?
Everybody wants to talk about this stuff. No one wants to write the rules.
Nope. It's your problem, or it's somebody else's problem.
It's just I'm in my 60s. The next guy who has this job is going to be in his 60s. It can be his problem. I'm ready to retire. I don't want to deal with big picture things anymore. And until you get somebody young who's going to be in a job for a decade plus, I just don't think anything real is going to happen. One of the other things that he was pretty adamant about was this notion, and most of it came from the Big 12 and the ACC, and it reminds you very much of, you can talk and you can have a little voice, but not too much. And one of the things Sankey was adamant about with Paul yesterday is this continued kind of reaffirming that we've played nice for a long time, but we're done. We're putting this conference first. Here's Sankey on Finebaum.
I think my track record has been to take seriously my responsibility for the SEC, and unapologetically so. And I said that on Saturday's baseball tournament championship game broadcast with the broadcast crew. We're unapologetic for our success. Look at Oklahoma City. We have the entire bracket of 4 on one side and then a 5th team in the upper bracket. Unapologetic because those coaches work hard, those players work hard, dedicate themselves, and they're proud to do it as part of the Southeastern Conference. But you do have a responsibility, so you're trying to work through the hard problems we have. Sure, I'm going to bring an SEC perspective, but I've compromised on things. In fact, in some of our rooms, I've had our athletics directors meeting in May where they said we've given up too much, perhaps, in the college football playoff that exists right now. The allocations currently made for other champions to move in and displace our teams or to move into the top 4 last year. So we'll continue to work through those. I'm probably in a little bit better frame of mind because I've only been asked once today about my responsibility for good of the game.
All right. That's a great line at the end. I've only been asked once about my responsibility for the good of the game. The reality is that the Big Ten and the SEC couldn't give 2 blanks about the rest. And they shouldn't. They've played this game the best. They have the biggest brands. They are the giants in the sport, and they are going to dictate what the future of it is. And they should not have to apologize. They should not have to make right with Jim Phillips or anybody else in these other conferences who want to be along for the ride. It's so funny. I don't know why this keeps coming back, but it's appropriate for the show. In that movie Snatch, when Bricktop is walking, he gives the guy the thing. And the guy goes, "Hey, Bricktop, thanks for the thanks for the heads up," or something like that. Don't ever stop me again while I'm walking, or I'll cut your Jacobs off. Like, that's what this is. Like, I threw you a bone. Yep. You're in the playoff. Shut up and like it. You're lucky I'm letting you into the dance.
Yeah, if I don't hear from Greg Sankey for a couple of months, I think that'd be too soon. But I understand what he's trying to do, and I do get from the perspective that they're sitting on the outside in twice in the national championship games, and it's the Big Ten right now that holds the power, at least on the field, and some of the bigger brands, with the SEC meetings, like the audacity of doing that in Destin, Florida, on a week when there's not a ton of sports going on.
That's the exact place to do it.
The agenda setting.
So the great Clay Hall just walked up, and he's obviously with luminaries of some sort, because the shirt here on the polo says Watersound Club, and that is a couple of good drivers from Destin, Florida. That place is spectacular. That's 30A heaven is what that is. So you know that Clay's running in the right circles. And look, they're smart with this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's Memorial Day weekend. Fish was talking about this when he was running SiriusXM College, and they would go down to Destin. And it's like, hey, do you want to come to Sandestin? Perfect weather, perfect beaches. Oh, by the way, our coaches, athletic directors, everyone's going to talk. By the way, he was even saying, like, kiddie care for your kid, bring your kids. They make it easy. They are available. They are easy. And that's how all of this works. That's how they took the most regional brand in all of sports, not college football, in all of sports, and turned it into a national brand. They are in their footprint, and they've maxed it out, and now we got to deal with them. And we've dealt with them pretty well the last couple of years. But you're dealing with those 2 entities controlling this sport going forward, and you're going to walk hand in hand with the SEC and the Big Ten going forward. So you have to pay attention with what they have to say. Paul Finebaum's up in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Introducing Ice Cream Quakes from UDF. Big chunks of your favorite candies and cookies blended with real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. We'll say that again. Real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. Pick your flavor, pick your mix-ins, or try one of our featured recipes. And get an ice cream quake made the way you want. Real creamy, real chunky, real. Ice Cream Quakes, new from United Dairy Farmers.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious blueberries, money saved. A creamy treat of cookie dough ice cream, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also 10 points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy, America's football capital is right here in Ohio. But the greatest football players and coaches of all time live up the road in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And a trip there should be on every football fan's list. Go to 971thefan.com/goldjacket and enter to win a VIP experience to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion. Relive the glory.
Need flexible funds fast? With HELOC from CME Federal Credit Union, you can get a low intro rate of just 3.95% for the first 6 months, helping you save while you borrow. Visit CMEFCU.org to learn more. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
97.1 The Fan. Memorial Leaderboard Update.
Good morning, I'm Ryan Baker. There plays underway out at Muirfield, round number 1 of the 50th Memorial Tournament. We've got a two-way tie at the top right now. Ricky Fowler and Austin Eckroat, both -2. A bunch of golfers one stroke back at -1. Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele, Victor Hovland, Ludwig Oberg all teed off here in the last half hour. Hideki Matsui and Colin Morikawa teeing off right now. At 1:20 today, Justin Thomas and Patrick Cantlay will go off. Then right behind them, it's world number 1 Scotty Scheffler and Sepp Straka. Of course, the Fan broadcasting live all weekend long from the Memorial Tournament. We'll be out there till 6 this evening. This one's sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Enjoy rates lower than the national average, plus a special rate on balance transfers with a Visa Platinum or Visa with Rewards credit card.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Finebaum, sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
My friend, you've had a bunch of career moments. I thought your 4 minutes with Kiffin was just perfect. I thought it was just perfect. So I got to know, did you have any idea that that's the way that was going to go? Was that pre-planned at all? And you had to enjoy it. That seemed to be about as much fun as you could have.
Yeah, no, it felt like we were doing vaudeville. Bo, truthfully, we've done that so many times that I've learned just look at the camera and make funny faces. I know the audience is wondering what this is all about, but the genesis is that in 2013, my first year, I was traveling with Game Day before SEC started. I essentially called him the Miley Cyrus of college football, said if he didn't win tonight in Arizona, he should be fired. He lost and was fired. And it was a moment that every single time I've spoken to Kiffin, which is every couple of times a year, he brings it up, and it's the most awkward, cringeworthy. It's like putting a divorced couple on a game show together.
It does seem to, from the outside looking in, it does feel, though, that there is some genuine affection. And as someone, we're in the content business, and Kiffin has always been great content.
Well, what Lane Kiffin wants is to go viral. He doesn't want to come on there, and he's told me this privately, and say, what's your quarterback situation? I mean, all the questions we have to ask, that's not him. He feels comfortable with me. He acts like he doesn't like me. His fan base thinks he hates me. And this is inside baseball, but Awful Announcing is a website that covers the media. Yeah, I mean, it's a guarantee that when Kiffin's on, it will be a pinned tweet on Awful Announcing.
Yeah, we know them well. The great Ben Koo is a guy here locally, so we know Awful Announcing very well. And you're right, it does get picked up every single time. So that was very fun. I tell you, and you've been to a lot of these, Greg Sankey was pretty pointed. Anytime he was on your show or anytime, I mean, there was an agenda to get done, and he made sure that agenda got out there. What did you make of Sankey's tenor and just kind of his tone this week?
Yeah, but he meets with the media every day. The first day he was defensive. He got into it with one reporter from CBS Sports, and it got pretty ugly. the feeling was the reporter was representing Brent Yormark of the Big 12. He calmed down the next day. On yesterday, we never know because he talks to us right before he talks to the rest of the media. So everybody is watching. And I thought it would be maybe mundane because originally they said he didn't have much time. He ended up spending 30 minutes with us. And the only reason he didn't spend more is that we had to go to a commercial break because we were near the end of the show. And I mean, he pulled out an AK-47 and took people out. Yes. And I mean, and he let me translate it. He's had enough of dealing with the other leagues. He talked very affectionately about Tony Petitti. We said we have disagreements, but we are aligned. And he went after the ACC and the Big 12, who went after him the other day for not representing the greater good of the game. Sankey's a guy that was the Southland Conference commissioner. He's been at small colleges. He's a lifer, as we say, and he resented that.
Well, what jumps out to me is kind of this notion of like, hey, we've let you play in our sandbox. Don't complain about the sand. And that's kind of the tone that I took from him of kind of like, you know what, like this whole thing's going to go wherever we and the Big Ten decide that it goes. And if you don't like it, kick rocks. Like, go find another sandbox to play in.
And Bo, there's a lot of media, and I interviewed enough of them, and you know them as well, who just can't handle this moment in time. And it's not the arrogance of me being on the SEC network or you covering Ohio State, but let me put it bluntly. The Big Ten and the SEC don't need the rest of these guys. No. And I think if the other commissioners tick him and Petitti off enough, they may just say, we'll do what we want. I mean, they really do not need the rest of college football right now.
No, they don't. And anything they do, I think, is charitable at this point. And I know some people don't like to hear that, but that's the reality, that if you have those two conferences and the brands that are represented, you really don't need anything else. And so that's why when you hear about these conversations, one of the things I want to ask you about was a lot of this momentum for this 5+11. I'll be honest with you, Paul, 5+11, 4-4, 2-2, 1-3, whatever. Like, the SEC and the Big Ten are going to have a minimum of 4, 5, and 6 teams in a 16-team playoff. That's just the minimum requirement, is it not?
It is, and the key word Sankey used yesterday with us, we don't need unanimity. Bo, he still ticked off about the alliance a couple of years ago, which the Big Ten was involved with, but with a different commissioner. And that's why the Petitti alignment is so important. And the Stuart Mandells of the world and their friends, but they can take all the shots they want. Sankey just doesn't care. He's got enough problems in his own conference, and one of the big stories going into this week was Sankey wanted them to move to 9 games versus 8 conference games, and I know the Big Ten does as well. The problem is until the CFP is done, they can't do that. It's tied directly to the CFP expansion.
Oh, well, that part of it will be that's a very notable part. Paul, the other thing that what you talk about, whatever this playoff is going to look like going forward, the other thing that I noticed, and I think it was Chris Del Conte, the athletic director at Texas, mentioned this. There's all of this talk that the media wants to run with in terms of how much everybody's paying for teams, and we dealt with it here. Anytime Ohio State was on television last fall, it was, it's a $20 million roster. Never mind, it was probably more. And by the way, there's probably a dozen teams that were kind of in that world. And the thing that I told Ohio State, and I told this to Ryan when he was on our show several times, I'm like, man, be Real Madrid. Like, own it. Like, we spent this money on the roster. This is the sport now. And it feels like they're starting to get people coming around on that a little bit down there.
They are. I was with Kirby Smart, I guess it was Tuesday, and he makes it clear to anybody. He said, I want the players to make money. He knows he's sending a message to everyone.
Yeah.
So that's where they are. I mean, it's still. You have to sit there and you listen to the Arkansas coach and the Mississippi State coach, and they get a vote, but it's like, come on now already. And by the way, there's still some resentment inside the SEC in total about the Big Ten alignment. Although Brian Kelly, you heard what he said yesterday. Bring it on. And that's really. The cream of the SEC and the Big Ten are going to make this happen. The rest of them are just going to have to live with it because they're still collecting the checks.
Paul, you and you mentioned the Brian Kelly stuff. I talked about that in the previous segment of a scheduling partnership. The one thing that kind of jumps out is, boy, if that happens, you want to talk about squeezing the Notre Dames of the world, because they're kind of and others as well. But like all of a sudden you're playing 9 conference games in the Big Ten and the SEC, and then you have a non-conference game against the other. There's not a whole lot of room left for those other conferences, which of course I'm fine with.
I understand, and you're right. Notre Dame gets, and the ACC is very vulnerable too, because Florida plays Florida State, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, Louisville, South Carolina, Clemson. They're all trying to protect those. But if this thing keeps going down the road, there's no way you can play a 9-game conference schedule plus maybe a Big Ten team and then still play a big rival. That is going to be done. That's the real threat the SEC has, as well as the Big Ten. Notre Dame, the loser on one side, the ACC devastated on the other.
I'll get you out of here on this one, my friend. I know it's been a busy couple of weeks for you, and really greatly appreciate your time. Was there a comment or a conversation that you had with a coach that was maybe illuminating in terms of how they view the sport at the moment, or what is most critical to them?
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is I actually had a football conversation, which was hard to have, and I bring it up because of the opening game of the season. But privately, talking to Steve Sarkisian, I mean, he said publicly this is the best roster I have. Privately, he doubled down on that.
Okay.
So I really, I mean, I don't need to hype the game any more than it's already getting. But the Texas people are licking their chops, waiting for this season to begin.
Well, and I also, you hear about, hey, man, we're not playing this thing on Sunday, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them for not playing on Sunday. Like, Ohio State and the Big Ten signed the contract for noon. We're going to play it at noon, and that's certainly a win from the Texas side. That game, it can't. I don't want to wish away summer, but it can't get here quick enough. Great talking to you as always, my friend, especially off of an eventful week. Thanks for your time.
You bet. Talk soon, Bo.
All right, there he goes. Paul Finebaum, the Paul Finebaum Show on ESPN on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Fan interviews from the Memorial are sponsored by First Bank of Central Ohio. We'll play a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, summer is our season, and we're kicking it off with a free 12-ounce Sunrise Sunset Smoothie for National Flip-Flop Day on May 28th from 2 to 7 p.m. Terms and conditions apply.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, it's that time of year again.
What time is that?
The time all the air conditioners start breaking down.
Oh, that time. Yep, every year.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Like a swarm of bees. They all get together in a coordinated effort.
You mean the Queen air conditioner tells them all to break down?
Nah, they just get tuckered out in the heat, Aaron. Can we handle all the calls?
Sure, we have a swarm of highly trained coolness experts standing by.
Get Eco.
ECO. And we have $3.5 million in new service trucks to get them there the day you call.
The same day? Well, what if you don't call until...
We'll come as late as you'll stay up to let us in. Same day.
That explains all the revving engines.
It's like a beehive of activity, Jerry.
Do you know I invented that weird Scoopy thing you serve honey with?
You should invent something for ketchup, Jerry. It's America.
Ooh, now that's an idea.
Get Eco.
ECO. GetEco.com.
Many drugs, like cocaine, methamphetamine, and non-prescription pills, are often cut with dangerous opioids like fentanyl. As a result, nearly 14 Ohioans die daily from unintentional overdoses. That's why it's important to carry naloxone, such as Narcan, a life-saving medication that blocks the effects of fentanyl and other opioids. Over the last 5 years, naloxone has saved over 83,000 lives. Help save lives and visit naloxone.ohio.gov to learn more and find free naloxone. Remember, if you see an overdose occurring, always call 911.
Deal-in days are back at Lindsay Honda. Lock in your deal in May. Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas. Simply pick your new 2025 Honda and enjoy 0% for up to 60 months. Yes, 0% for up to 60 months on all new 2025 Hondas, including HR-V, Pilot, and Ridgeline.
Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Lindsay's got it, and you're gonna save.
See Lindsay Honda during Deal-in days. See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Listen to this. Wouldn't this sound nice? Clearer skin, better posture, improved digestion, better sleep, and more energy. Just a few of the endless benefits clients have received with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app, or listen at home on your smart speaker, or open up the iHeartRadio app, or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the dopes at The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy, and the next day was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
The only thing better than a Muirfield milkshake is when Bo uses it to hold his bourbon. You're listening to Bishop and Friends live from the Memorial.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Oh, there you got it. 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament out at Jack's Place. Little overcast, but right now, honestly, perfect out here as round one is underway. Time for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the Master Griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
We'll start with one Central Ohio institution to another. It is returning after a 5-year hiatus. Schmidt's Sausage House in German Village has brought back the world-famous Autobahn Buffet.
Oh, my God.
It's been around since 1991, offers a variety of house-made sausage, meatloaf, classic German sides like mashed potatoes and vegetables, soup, salad, rolls, and more for about $20. It was a COVID casualty, but returned, and it was featured in the Food Network show Man vs. Food back in 2008. I know the answer to this question, but I have to ask it. I'm contractually obligated. Thing or not a thing?
Well, it's a huge thing. Mm-hmm. I don't have any internet. I was going to look up the view of this. I wanted to get a look at this thing and see. I've not had this.
Ooh. When was the last time you had Schmidt's?
10 years.
Still holds up.
Years. I'm sure it does. I mean, it's undefeated. It just, wow. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge thing. And then, I mean, I'm not a buffet guy in general. My issue with it is folks standing. I think we actually had a promo that ran into the ground at one point where I said I don't like eating food that other people standing over food I'm going to eat.
Correct.
And that remains the same. But the price on this is pretty money. And then as with very strong German heritage, I feel like this would be a sweet spot for me.
This is a huge thing.
Bacon, you had this?
So no, I think I've only been to Schmidt's once in my life, which is it's a shame. Yeah. But I'm all for buffets. I know you're not, Bo, but
No.
I'm all for a buffet. And it's one of the things that made me the most angry about COVID is we lost buffets. And I'm glad there was two things that made me angry. One was that we lost buffets, and two, that if I was up at night and I needed to run to Walmart or Meijer, I couldn't anymore because they weren't 24 hours. And that was one of the things I'd used to do. If I couldn't sleep, I'd just go get the shopping done. And I couldn't do that
love a late
anymore.
night shop.
Yes, it was the best. It was just me and the shelf stockers. That was it.
I love that. Yeah, I used to go after I would do the 11.
Okay.
I'd go grocery shopping after I did the 11. Loved it. All by yourself. Easy breezy. I do like that the Bake's biggest casualty of COVID was the buffets. It's funny, Bootsy just said last night, he goes, NBC was looking at photos of like them and like during the COVID time and like kind of all of the things we did. And Bootsy goes, I'd love to go back to COVID time. Mom taught us and we didn't do anything. To which point she went at him hard. She's like, we did a lot. You were just done by one.
Yeah,
it was great.
So those were the things that made me the most angry, and I'm glad that people are bringing buffets back. You should have buffets, especially a place like Schmidt's that's a legendary place here in town.
Look at this smooth operator.
The Cleveland Browns begin OTAs earlier this week. They had Wednesday's session open to the media. ESPN Cleveland reported that Shedeur Sanders went 7 of 9 with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions during team drills. Dylan Gabriel was okay. Joe Flacco was okay. Kenny Pickett, 9 of 16 with no touchdowns and no interceptions. Thing or not a thing?
I'm intimately familiar with a lot who are involved in this.
Should have led with that instead of the sausage.
Intimately involved in sausage in the same sentence.
Well, that might be a win,
He knows
too.
how it's made.
I just tell you this. Like, I know how this context is pretty important to all of this because there's no context on the 7 of 9.
It's the
like we have no
silliest
idea
damn
if there was defense involved or is this just Shedeur on air. He's looked really good. I mean this isn't a thing. Like charting OTA throws is not a thing. I think it's a funny thing and creative of them to do it. I think that's fun. I mean, they're serving their audience and their fans, so I get it. But from the perspective of like what's accomplished, I mean, that it's utter nonsense. So it's not a thing in that sense. I will say that Shedeur Sanders has looked really good every time he's thrown. Not just yesterday, but any time that I've seen him thrown, he's looked really good.
Yeah, this is not a thing because they're not facing a pass rush. There's no threat of them getting hit. Who knows who's covering the receivers. But the thing that is a thing here is that everything you've heard so far from Cleveland Browns camp and people that have been there, people that are watching, is that Shedeur has looked really good and that he has done everything he was supposed to, that he's come in, that he's worked hard, that he's learning the playbook. And it sounds like Dylan Gabriel is doing the same things as well, and he has looked good too. So those are the things that are promising here. Not that he had a great performance throwing against air the other day.
They did get kind of physical. Like Kenny Pickett got hit once. Like they did some 11 on 11. Like they got a lot of reps in. I think those rep numbers are accurate in terms of how many throws they all got. But it was some of it was 11 on 11, some was 7 on 7, some was against air, some was red zone. So it was kind of all over the field the way that it was done.
I was thinking about this the other day. If the Bengals move Trey Hendrickson, or even if the Bengals keep Trey Hendrickson, and Shedeur keeps looking like this through OTAs, through mandatory minicamp, into training camp, as a Browns fan, I'd be comfortable starting him week 1.
No,
what the hell? Do it.
You would not.
Over Kenny Pickett.
It's going to be Pickett or Flacco. At least I think through the Pittsburgh game. And I think it'll be Pickett.
Listen, I'm comfortable starting him too. I don't care. Like if Kenny Pickett's my option, and again, I know my view is tainted from what I've seen. I'm okay with it.
Let's just hold for a second on this. So if you're an organization and you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round and the 5th round, would you want their first experience in the National Football League, by the way, with a receiving core that needs a little bit of work here, to be against Cincinnati, Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, Pittsburgh? That's the first 6. That is, you want to talk about thrown into the fire? That's as hot as it gets.
The fire in the fact in the opener that he'd have to score with Joe Burrow, but that Cincinnati defense doesn't scare me. Now, Baltimore might be a different story, but Cincinnati week 1?
They're going to try to win games 20-17, 17-13. So it's going to be don't make a mistake, keep the ball, keep matriculating the clock, rely on the run game and the tight ends. That's what it's going to look like up there.
All right, so we got about 4 minutes left in this segment, which works perfectly here. Seth Wickersham has a book coming out titled American Kings, a biography of the quarterback. Excerpts from that book revealed Caleb Williams and his father, Carl, considered ways to avoid being drafted by the Bears. On Wednesday, Williams defended his commitment to Chicago in a 4-minute opening statement that addressed his feelings about the Bears relating to the pre-draft process.
I wanted to come here and, be the guy and be a part and be a reason on why, Chicago Bears turn this thing around. So that last thing that was said and all of that, I think was the most important thing, is that I wanted to be here, that I love being here. I love my teammates. I love all the people that got me here, family, friends, Ryan, Kevin, Flus, and Shane, all those guys that, went through all of that process with me to get me here. All those things, like I said, were thoughts, but the main goal and the main objective of being here is to turn around. That's why I was selected number 1. And so, that's what we're here to do.
I wasn't going to play all 4 minutes of that opening statement, but thing or not a thing?
I think he did the best job he could in a tough spot. When this story first broke and I saw this excerpt from his dad, the question, and Reese, you may have been off. Bake and I talked about it, I remember, but why would they participate in this? Why would they have this stuff on the record? What's the win for them?
There is none.
It's a thing that he addressed it the way he did. I don't know what else he could have done. I think that's about as good a job as you could do.
Yeah, I don't think it's a thing, because the true conversations that need to be had have probably already been had behind closed doors with his teammates and people that are there and work within the organization. I guess it's good for the public to hear him say, hey, he's committed, but I guess his play will really show how committed he is.
And what a surprise that someone wouldn't be exactly thrilled about playing quarterback in Chicago. They don't exactly have a track record of it. It's like Sid Luckman, Jim McMahon, the end.
So as part of that 4-minute spiel that he gave, again, this was Wednesday after Bears OTAs, he did make reference to Chicago not having a 4,000-yard passer since.
Ever.
Yeah.
Since ever. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, for sure.
How dare you besmirch Rex Grossman like that?
Oh, I covered Rexy at Florida, baby. That kid gulped life.
he was living pretty well. Yeah.
That kid gulped life.
I feel too bad for Rex Grossman.
Final hour at Muirfield Village and the 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Psst. Hey, you. Wouldn't a Diet Coke at 7 a.m. totally hit? You know you can get that from Wendy's for just $1, right? Even you, girl drinking a Fanta on the way to 8 a.m. Pilates class. Any soda you want, any size, just $1. So go get that breakfast soda, you morning menace. But maybe hurry, because it's only during breakfast. Morning soda? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Exclusions apply. Not valid on a combo. Prices may be higher in Hawaii.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Introducing Ice Cream Quakes from UDF. Big chunks of your favorite candies and cookies blended with real UDF ice cream. Made the way you want. Real creamy, real chunky, real. Ice Cream Quakes. New from United Dairy Farmers.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Leslie, what's that hot lamp against your window for?
Pella windows are tested up to 160 degrees Wilson to ensure efficiency and the lowest energy bills possible, even in the craziest of temperatures. Put your hand on there.
All right. God, that's hot.
On the window, Wilson.
Oh, hey, that is quite nice and cool. So I'm going to go grab some ice now.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rated #1 for innovation at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Tired of being undervalued? Join 9 Trees and get what you deserve. At 9 Trees, we don't just hire hardscapers. We build a team of skilled pros who take pride in their craft and get rewarded for it. Top pay that beats what you're making now, we guarantee it. Performance bonuses, modern equipment and the tools you need, medical benefits and retirement accounts. You've got the skills, we've got the respect, and the paycheck to match. Make the move. Apply today at 9treeslc.com or call 614-921-9595.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Smalls here. If you're a fan of 5 Hour Energy like I am, you're going to love what they've just cooked up. 5 Hour Energy has introduced an incredible new flavor, Spicy Cinco de Mango. Spicy Cinco de Mango has a spicy chili flavor, followed by a sweet mango flavor. Yes, you heard that right, a spicy energy shot. It's spicy, sweet, and a tad unhinged. And it's only available online for a limited time or while supplies last. So don't wait. Head to 5hourenergy.com to order Spicy Cinco de Mango today. That's 5hourenergy.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The 50th Memorial Tournament continues at Muirfield Village in Dublin. 3 golfers share the lead at 2 under. Ricky Fowler, Ben Griffin, and Victor Hovland. Defending champ Scotty Scheffler is going to go this afternoon at 1:30. In the NBA tonight, the Pacers can advance to the finals with a Game 5 win over the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Tip-off from MSG is 8 o'clock. New York trails 3-1. They can force Game 6 with a win tonight. Regardless of the outcome, NBA Finals begin Thursday, June 5th. In the NHL, the Panthers are in the Stanley Cup Finals for the 3rd year in a row. Either Edmonton or Dallas will meet them there. Stars host the Oilers in Game 5 tonight at 8. On any college football, Ohio State's going to announce their first 3 kickoff times at noon today. Expect that August 30th kick against Texas to be a big nooner. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends, live from the Memorial.
Presented by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
You know, it's day 1 of the Memorial Tournament. It's the 50th anniversary. This tournament's like a warm blanket for me. So many memories. So much fun, so much tomfoolery that's been had through the years. So many incredible moments. Unofficial start of summer in Central Ohio, as we've been saying for a great many years. So I'm in a good mood. And then I hear an update anchor say you can expect Texas at noon. And while I knew that that's where this was headed, I don't like it.
Can I make it better? It's not officially official. It will be officially official at noon today.
Well, you got this line from Chris Del Conte that we talked about in the second hour, the Texas AD, when he said, "Why would I move the game to Sunday night and have a short week for our boys who were just told we're kicking off at high noon?" It was never about moving the time of day. It was just, hey, do you want to move the day? And I go, we're not moving. We're contractually obligated to this day. That was it. But, the craziness is, oh, my God, they said no. I just said no to Sunday. I got to go to church. I mean, hot dang. As soon as we read that line from the Texas athletic director, at that point you said, well, we're cooked. And that's it. It's amazing that this contract was done without an ability to move the date.
Who signed it?
Oh, yeah. The adults in the room here did, and they didn't read the fine print or didn't consider it.
Yep.
What do you – I mean, and Bake, I want you to weigh in on this too. Do you think this was a situation where Ohio State – because it really is an Ohio State problem. It doesn't feel like it's as big as a Michigan problem. I don't think Michigan cares as much, or maybe their big-time games haven't been affected as much. Like, we've lost the Penn State night game. Like, that's gone. Hopefully it comes back this year. I mean, they're getting noon with Texas and Michigan. Hopefully you get the Penn State game back at night. But do we think that it was just misjudging how weary we would be with noon starts and having to carry the water for a network? Or do you think it was just, boy, that's a lot of money, tell me where to sign?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was Kevin Warren that signed these deals, correct, with Fox?
He did, but Gene Smith would have been right there with him.
He did it right.
I feel like Kevin Warren just took the money, and I feel like everybody else just fell in line because they're like, well, that's going to be best for the conference is getting the money. By the way, why do I feel like the Texas AD goes to the Church of Gemstones?
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? He is Jesse Gemstone. He's there every single Sunday, brother. He is there every single Sunday with who is the other one? What was the rival church?
Simpkins.
The Simpkins. He could be a Simpkins guy though. I mean, I could see that too. Yeah, all of that tracks. It just feels like there was a miscalculation from Gene Smith. I don't think Kevin Warren was it. I think Kevin Warren, and I think history proves this, guys, Kevin Warren used the boss of the Big Ten as a conduit to the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
And what he wanted was credit for something. So that's how he had that big, bold play. We're not going to play. We're canceling the season. Then the SEC said, actually, no, I don't think we're going to. We're going to wait a month, and then we're going to play. And then Justin Fields has to go on the Today Show and fight for Ohio State to have a season along with everybody else. And they finally got it done. But he tried to do that, and none of the lemmings followed him off the cliff. Now, so what he needed was a victory, and his victory was this television package. And it was lauded because it was the richest television package. It was lauded because it was on network television in all three windows, and that still matters. However you consume your sports, whether it's through an app or through YouTube TV or cable or over the air or whatever, if you're on network, more people watch. It's just where we are still. I don't know if it's always going to be that way, but the way it is now. And so they were so proud of all of that there was no consideration to, wait a second, the first pick in all of this is going to be Fox, and their chosen window is noon. And we're going to have to carry the water for that forever. This sucks with a capital S. Mm-hmm. Texas, Ohio State should be at night. This stinks. It's brutal. The atmosphere won't be as good. The atmosphere won't be as electric. It won't be as unforgettable. The tailgate won't be. None of it will be. The game can still be spectacular, and it will be. These are arguably the two most talented teams in the country. But in terms of everything else this could have been, you're robbed of it. So when you hear folks talk about when Vince Young came in here and all of those things, those experiences that you had if you went to that game, they cannot be duplicated at noon. That's just a fact. If you need more proof of that, Texas is deciding to say, no, we're good, because they know it's worse off for us to play at noon. It's in the proof is in the pudding.
Because everything you just said, they get to have next season.
Yes,
in
they
2026, that game's going to be in Austin. That game's going to be a night kick. It's probably another Arch Manning start. You probably get another Julian Sain start for both the quarterbacks of both teams. Probably another top 5 matchup. Could even be 1 versus 2, doing it all over again.
Yep.
But I wonder with Fox and with Peacock, you add an extra 0 to that check, and then you kind of just slide in there the streaming service, or Fox just slides in there big noon obligations. But here's an extra 0 on the check. So look at the big money, ignore the big noon, because another thing that's going to anger Buckeye fans, I think, is you get a Peacock game sometime in the schedule. Who's that going to be against? What's that going to look like? Because that against Purdue, I don't think kids were too thrilled with that one either, along with the 6 straight noon starts.
I'm guessing Gene Smith, when these were signed and this was all going on, I'm guessing he never thought, oh my gosh, we're going to end our season with 6 straight noon games. I'm guessing that never crossed his mind.
I also think think about it from Gene's perspective. Hell, think about this from Ryan's perspective, too. They love noon.
They do.
They love it.
Big noon fans.
They wake up, whether you stay at the Hilton downtown or you stay at the Blackwell in the old days, wherever you're going to stay, you go to the hotel on Friday, you get up, you play a game at noon, you're done by 5 o'clock. I mean, it's as big a win as possible. The reason, and so I'm sure Gene's job that weekend is to shake hands and kiss babies. That's the job. That's what Ross's job is on a football Saturday. That's his job, is to entertain. That's what he's doing. So noon is fine for that. Where it sucks is those special moments from an environment standpoint. And there's just no scenario where noon is as good as night. It's just not. And especially when you consider it's August 30th. I mean, that's going to be at noon, 92.
If you're going to C-Deck, get some sunscreen. Get like SPF 50 with like the mineral kind.
It sucks.
Yep.
I mean, it just sucks. And I'm not here, make this abundantly clear, this is not Texas's problem. I think what Chris Del Conte said is on point, and I would do the same. This is a ruthless business. If Ross Bjork were given the exact same options, I would bet anything he would say the same thing. Why is he going to help out a rival? Folks, Texas isn't a rival. The hell they ain't. Texas is a rival. Alabama's a rival. Georgia's a rival. Why do you think we pay attention when Sankey and these guys talk? Because these are the people who are your peers. Your peers are not Illinois and Purdue and Rutgers and Maryland, these clown show teams at the bottom of the Big Ten. That is not who your rivals are. Your rivals, the teams you need to pay attention to, are the teams down there, Michigan, Penn State, Notre Dame, Oregon, maybe someday USC. Those are the teams you need to pay attention to. The very upper crust of the sport. And what Texas is doing here is saying, you're not going to get a moment on our watch. That's what they did, and I don't blame them.
I'm looking at Ohio State's schedule. So October 11th, they're playing Illinois. They're at Illinois. Ohio State is. Stick that game at Peacock. Put that game 7:30 at night and just be done with it.
Is Illinois going to be all right this year?
I was going to say that might be a pretty
top
big
25
game.
matchup.
Yeah, I mean they might be ranked. It was inevitable once. So when this first dropped, and you got just real quick catch up for everybody. When they did the upfronts initially in the writing of the upfronts, they had this at noon. Then they took that language out, and talking to sources and people who I trust, Ohio State worked their tail off to try to get this sometime other than noon. They worked hard at it. Now they're going to try and spin it another way, and that's their business. That's what you got to do. But the reality is when this thing dropped, Ohio State said, "Boy, what can we do here to play this game at night? Our fans want it at night. We need it from an environment standpoint at night. We need it for recruiting at night. What do we got to do?" And they worked hard to do it. And the only thing that they could get was Sunday night. That was the only window. I don't know if they tried Friday. But honestly, Texas would say no to that too.
Yeah, they would.
So
there was no chance that you were. When Ross Bjork, and I forget which outlet he told this, that they were working on moving that game.
Yeah.
Back in my head, I'm like, they're not getting that moved.
But
I had no idea, Bake, that Texas had a say in it.
I didn't either. But what do you mean, though? They would have said no to Friday night. I mean, church isn't on Friday night. That's not why.
This statement from Chris Del Conte is a cat ate the canary statement.
It's a baby Billy kind of statement.
It is a baby Billy statement. It is a absolutely, I won, you deal with it. That's what that is. And you guys pick up the pieces from that. So that's where that stands there. We are broadcasting live, 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament out at Muirfield Village. Shuffle things around there a little bit. We'll do higher or lower where the Buckeyes and Longhorns will be well represented. That is coming up next. We're broadcasting live out at the Memorial Tournament at Jack's Place. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. A lot of dealerships not stocking much inventory right now because of reasons. But at Jermaine Lexus, they have new inventory arriving every day. Get what you want when you want it. Lease the all-new NX350 for as low as $389 per month. How about rates as low as 3.99% up to 48 months and 4.49% up to 60 months on their most popular models. Jermaine Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Summer is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. You want to beat the heat and keep the AC in your home? Get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you can buy 4 windows and get 4 windows free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, and no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. So how exactly do they keep their prices affordable? It's a great question. Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon. So buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION, or go to their website, windownation.com.
Want to lower your auto loan rate? CME Federal Credit Union can help you beat your rate fast. Lock at a rate as low as 5.25% and enjoy no payments for 60 days. Plus, with their lightning fast turnaround, you'll be on your way to savings in no time. Ready to roll into savings? Visit CMEFCU.org today and start driving to a better deal. Terms and conditions apply. Minimum floor rate of 5.25%. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Join our resident gambling degenerates Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Got a teen athlete? Then you know putting in the hours is all part of the game. But did you know the same goes for learning how to drive? Because just like playing a sport, learning to drive takes practice. The only difference is the stakes are even higher. 50 hours of practice time driving with you? Worth every minute. Gear up at teachyourteentodrive.ohio.gov.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are expecting a mix of clouds and sunshine. More sunshine here by the afternoon with highs back into the mid-70s. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy skies, lows into the upper 50s, and those clouds will be ahead of our next system that brings rain back into the area here for Friday. Rainfall could be heavy at times as we look ahead to the morning hours. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. Good morning, friends. You're listening to a special edition of Bishop and Friends, live from the Memorial.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
And indeed, we are. The 50th playing of the Memorial Tournament underway out at Muirfield Village. We will continue to broadcast out here the rest of this show and tomorrow, and then Rothman and Ice to follow. And then I think it's Timmy and Beam. They 6 today. Do I have that right?
They are 3-6.
Yeah, that's it. And then, of course, back at it tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Tyvus and Brother Bone will kick us all off again. Time for a little higher or lower. Hit it, guys.
Bishop and Friends present Higher or Lower.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222 or visit online at thewaterworks.com.
Are either of you familiar with Grok? G-R-O-K.
Is this the thing that I see on Twitter?
Yes, it is X's artificial intelligence.
Okay.
So you can ask Grok whatever you'd like, and Grok will respond.
How do you do that? Like through the app, or like?
So if I'm going to show you my computer,
all right,
and if you can see Twitter, don't look at that. Don't look at that tab.
Yeah.
You can see on Twitter.
Oh,
fitting. We got some walking music.
Yes,
that little eye thing.
Oh, right there.
You ask Grok.
And
says,
then,
how can I help you today?
And
then whatever, anything.
I'll be danged.
I was going to ask Grok about his milkshake and whether or not it brings the boys to the yard, quite like Jack's. But Sports Illustrated.
That video had a tone to it, didn't it?
Which one?
The milkshake to the yard.
Oh, yeah. No, that was.
Khalees is
that's powerful.
She's thrown about 126.
That's an introduction to the world.
The corners.
The good old days.
Holy cow, was that. The first time you saw that, good night,
an MTV afternoon, you're like, whoa, how do you follow that up?
I don't know if we can play that at 3 o'clock. Maybe that goes later.
So the folks at Sports Illustrated's College Football HQ asked Grok to rank the top 10 college football teams entering 2025.
Okay.
We'll start at the top, and I'll give Grok's reasoning before I ask. Penn State is their number one team entering this college football season. Grok says Drew Aller and a veteran offense with running backs Nick Singleton and Katron Allen return, but the team must overcome James Franklin's history of struggling against elite opponents. A strong transfer class, including receivers, bolsters their CFP aspirations. Penn State at 1, can't go any higher, but higher or lower for the Nittany Lions. Grok roasting James Franklin.
I don't even need to do this show. Just have Grok do it.
Right.
Grok, they can do it. That's what I would say.
Careful what you say.
Be here before we know it. You know, it's so interesting that we're doing this for higher or lower. Last night was playing the NCAA video game from last year, and Beamsy said to me, he goes, "Dad, who do you think is the favorite? Who would you bet on to win the national championship this year?" He goes, "Do you think the Buckeyes can win back-to-back?" And I said, "Yeah, I think they can, but it's not very likely. It's very difficult to do. It's not likely that they will, first-year quarterback." And he's like, "Well, who is it likely for?" And then he's like, Texas? And I said, I don't know, first year for Arch? Is he really going to win the national championship his first year at Texas? Like, is that in play? And then Georgia, new quarterback, all of this. LSU, am I in on a Nussmeier kid at quarterback and Brian Kelly? And you keep coming back to this. If Penn State weren't Penn State, I would say them. They feel a lot like us last year. Veteran quarterback returning. Dual-headed running back room. Nice portal days. Good job in the recruiting. Like, veteran guys deciding to come back. Like, if ever there was a time for Penn State to do this, if they were coached by anybody else, they would be preseason number one. But because they're coached by James Franklin, they won't be. It'll be Ohio State, Texas, but they're probably the most deserving of it. I just don't have faith that they'll actually be able to do it.
At number 2, you have the Clemson Tigers. At number 3, you have the Texas Longhorns. At 4, the Georgia Bulldogs. At 5, the world-famous Ohio State Buckeyes. And here's what Grok says about OSU. Losing key players and both coordinators hurts, but stars like Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, plus a top recruiting class, keep Ohio State elite. They'll need a new quarterback to maintain their Big Ten prowess. Higher or lower for the Buckeyes at 5.
All right, Bake. So you got Penn State, Clemson, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State. Is that what you said?
Correct.
Is that your order?
Yes.
I see your Tigers there, too, buddy. You're a big Tiger guy.
Listen,
that's probably the best value pick.
Listen, they've got a Heisman Trophy type quarterback in Cade Klubnik. Yep. At least his stats were good enough for that last year. They've got a couple offensive linemen that are projected to go high in the draft. They have a defensive end that's probably a top 5 player in the draft. 81% of their production coming back, and you don't have the questions, at least, of can they win a big one with Dabo Sweeney like you do in James Franklin. I would have, you guys know this, I've been big on this Clemson train. I would have them at number 1.
It's a little bit of a default at the top, is the reality. Because I think Clemson gets a lot of credit, sometimes too much credit, for how they played at Texas. In a loss. Mm-hmm. They lost that game. But sometimes I think because it was close, because it was more competitive than people thought, because that weekend most of the other games were completely whitewashes, that one was competitive. And so I think they get a little bit of a more benefit of the doubt from that. But I think both them, because of the returning quarterback, them and Penn State 1-2 makes a lot of sense. I think this is probably the sweet spot for Ohio State. I think this is like where they should be, but I think when the polls come out, they'll be first or second. But I think somewhere between 3 and 6, 7 is probably the right spot for Ohio State. We don't like living in that reality that the Buckeyes are somewhere other than first or second. But we have a new quarterback. We lost so many guys on defense, so many guys up front. The running back room, this is, by Ohio State standards, a rebuilding year. That's what it should be. We just don't have patience for that around here. So if they're not competing for national titles, well, what are you doing? But the reality is that's really the sweet spot. That's where they should be.
Again, Grok, Twitter's AI, was asked by Sports Illustrated to rank the top 10 teams in the college football season this upcoming one. At 5 was Ohio State. At 6, LSU. At 7, Notre Dame. 8 is Oregon. 9, Alabama. At 10, BYU.
Who's 8? You had LSU 6, Notre Dame 7. Who's 8? Bama?
8 was Oregon.
Oh, Oregon.
9 is Alabama. And then 10, you wrap it up with BYU. Can't go any lower in the top 10 than 10, but higher or lower for the Cougars at that spot.
Well, I mean, this is just the reality of the situation. I mean, their quarterback's in a little bit of trouble. Now, it's not legal trouble in the sense it's not the law who is charging him with anything, but there's a civil suit against Jake Ratzlaff, the quarterback at BYU, for sexual misconduct. And so how is that played out? Because remember, at BYU, it's not just as simple as he's going to have his day in court, he's going to have a court of law, all of this, and he will have all of those things. They have a code of conduct there, too.
Yes.
That's quite strict. And so what does that part all look like? So I understand why an AI would have them at 10, because it's not going to be having any sort of context on what's going on off the field there. We do, so I can't have BYU 10. You know what's alarming on this, Bake? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 10 have new quarterbacks, and one of the ones I didn't mention is Arch Manning at Texas, who started, a couple of games, but is relatively new as a starting quarterback. Buddy, I think we're headed for about as wide open a college football season as we've ever had.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this, where all the teams at the top, for the most part, have new starting quarterbacks, whether that be a guy that's finally getting his shot, a guy that's come in as a transfer. I don't ever remember this, and that's why it's hard. It's hard for us to put Penn State at the top, but I definitely understand why people do. I think I would have LSU maybe up a little higher in this list because of that, and you know that they always have dudes on that team. And it's one of the reasons that I'm so high on Clemson is because Klubnik is by far and away, to me, the best quarterback returning this year.
He might be.
He is.
He might be.
Of those 10 teams, who would you rather take? Klubnik or that field?
But does he also get the same... I guess I can't shake... He had an early performance last year against Georgia, and so did they, that it's hard for me to forget.
Yep.
And so every time I hear how great he is, and I hear him going number 1 in a pre-draft because everyone knows Manning's coming back, anytime you see that, and I understand it because he played really good in the Texas game. And he was good towards the second half of last year, really. He was really good. But, Bake, am I wrong? That was a 3-loss team, was it not?
Yeah, it was. And I think we kind of last season forgot about Clemson, right? Because of the Georgia performance, because it was like they just weren't ready for that yet. Georgia came out and boat raced them, and everything went bad for them. But they did rebound. They won the ACC, and I know it's the ACC. It's not the toughest conference, but Miami was decent last year. Your Ponies were pretty good last year, and they ended up winning that thing. In the game with Texas, it was an entertaining game. None of us expected Clemson to win because we still had that sight of the Georgia game, but 3,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and he can do it a little bit with his feet, too. This is a guy that was a highly rated quarterback when he came in, and we were waiting for this performance, and he gave it to us, and he's back.
Yeah, they lost. The one you can't shake is they lost in the opener to Georgia 34-3. He went 18-29, 142 and a pick, no touchdowns. Then they lost again. This is the other one I remember watching. They lost at home to Louisville 33-21. He was 33 of 56, 228, a touchdown, no picks. Then they lost again to South Carolina at home. He's 24 of 36, 280, no touchdowns and a pick. Then he has the great game against SMU with the 4 touchdowns, and it's the game in Austin that everybody remembers. You're right. Statistically, he was great. That was a 4-loss team, though, Clemson was last year. But it does feel, though, and this is probably a good way to sum it up for them and Penn State, while they have it in common that they're both bringing back starting quarterbacks, here's another thing they have in common. If not now, never.
Yes.
You don't win, James Franklin, this is your shot. It's right now. And I think this is the last shot for Clemson because Dabo's not recruiting the way he was in previous years, like a decade ago when he's getting Deshaun Watson and getting Trevor Lawrence. Those days are done. So, like, those two programs, it's got to be right now. The guy who knows a little bit about winning, quite a lot about winning, was Jack Nicklaus. He is the barometer with which golf is kind of measured by, on the course, off the course, all of it. He had his kind of State of the Union address yesterday. We'll have some of that for you in 2 minutes, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy, America's football capital is right here in Ohio. But the greatest football players and coaches of all time live up the road in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And a trip there should be on every football fan's list. Go to 971thefan.com/goldjacket and enter to win a VIP experience to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion. Relive the glory.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 6 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm one of the at-home coaches with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. A lot of times people just come to me and they're like, I've tried everything. I just can't lose weight. And I'm like, you haven't tried everything. You haven't tried Awaken 180. And we're completely different. The biggest difference I hear from people is the relationship with the health coach, because we get to know you. We're there for you. We're unlimited support for you. It's not just somebody who's sending you a cookie cutter program. You're getting that personal health coach. You and your health coach will work together at Awaken 180 to figure out how to make it your new lifestyle so that you don't have to think about it. You just live your life. That's the main difference. Come talk to us and see how Awaken 180 can help you.
Thanks, Mandy. This is Scotty Vegas. Unlimited coaching, unlimited support. Awaken 180 is there for you while losing weight fast and after reaching your goal. Free support for life at awaken180weightloss.com.
97.1 The Fan Memorial Leaderboard Update.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. Round 1 underway at the 50th Memorial Tournament. Minwoo Lee and Sam Stevens on the tee box right now. Your leader is Ben Griffin. He's -5 through 8 holes. Shane Lowry 2 strokes back, also through 8. He's at -3. Ricky Fowler, Xander Schauffele, Ludwig Oberg, and Andrew Novak all 3 strokes back at -2. Coming up at 1:20 today, Justin Thomas and Patrick Cantlay will tee off. Then right after them, world number 1 Scotty Scheffler and Sepp Straka will start their round at 1:30. Of course, the Fan live out at Muirfield all weekend. We're broadcasting till 6 p.m. tonight. This one brought to you by BMI Federal Credit Union. Rates as low as 5.54% and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance your auto loan with BMI.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Oh, look, we let Bo out of his cage. You're listening to Bishop and Friends live from the Memorial.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Boy, Bake, you gotta help me out with a Ben Griffin. I got nothing on a Ben Griffin.
I'm just glad his name is Ben Griffin and not something I had to look up.
I don't know.
Because I got nothing.
I got nothing. I see on the PGA Tour.com that he's a Mizuno guy, so I'm a Mizuno guy, so that's a win. I like that.
Where's AR? He'll give you a whole breakdown, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they got it locked in, but yeah, he's killing it.
His profile picture on the ESPN leaderboard looks like if you just plugged in like a creative golfer, like just generic golf guy.
Like Grok did it.
Yeah.
When you used to play the Tiger Woods video game, and then I think now it's PGA Tour. I don't even know if it still exists, but we got it a couple years ago, and you do like you're exactly right. That's exactly what the creative golfer looks like straight out of there. So he's 5 under, Shane Lowry at 3, Ricky Fowler, Xander Schauffele at 2. But those big groups are just starting. They all started in the 10 o'clock hour. Morikawa's -1, so they're just getting going on this thing. Matsuyama is at even, a former winner here, of course, and then the big pairing will come later. That is your Scotty Scheffler group. Justin Thomas is right around him as well. They're 1 o'clock, right around 1 o'clock. You'll get those tee times. Look, this is an event that I never take lightly because you are so aware of the foresight that Jack Nicklaus had to build this course, to put on this tournament, and to do so for now 50 years. It should not be lost on any of you that the Memorial Tournament honoree this year is his lovely wife, Barbara, who is by his side constantly this week. It's such a cool event. It means so much to us. It's such a privilege to be out here with the Fan and be able to cover it, and to be able to be around Jack Nicklaus a little bit, the greatest to ever do it. And he had his big availability yesterday. Let's start, Bake, with the one on the tournament and how special it still remains to him after all these years.
Well, it's special to me because we started from nothing. We started with an idea. We came out and started looking at property. Found the property that I had known as a kid, developed it into a golf course. Got the city of Columbus to bring us water past the city of Dublin. We've been a catalyst to grow this whole northwestern side of Franklin County. The business that has come into the Dublin area largely because of what we did here. There's so many things that have happened because of what happened here. Not just the golf tournament. The golf tournament's been great, but the things that have happened. And then to honor Barbara this year, I mean, that's really obviously extra special. But all the things that have happened have been certainly on the positive. It's been a huge part of the PGA Tour.
Absolutely.
And it's we didn't design this golf course or golf tournament to be a major championship. That was not our goal. Our goal was to do a tournament and be a service to the game of golf. And whatever we could do to help grow the game and further the game, and particularly in Central Ohio, that's what we wanted to do.
Well, he's done all those things tenfold. The growth in the northwest part of Franklin County goes without saying. It's stunning what's happened here in the last 50 years. It's hard to even put it into perspective unless you have somebody like Dom who's been around that long to be able to put it into perspective, or somebody like Jack who obviously was here doing it himself when he picked out the land. So there's that part of it. There's the charitable aspect of it, which is just staggering, and the partnership with Nationwide Children's and all of that. Like, that's just a stunning a stunningly good job of doing good. And they've done that, and they've really done that for years. And so there's that part of it. Then there's the golf part of it. And you think about what we've been front row for, when we had Dan Sullivan on, the tournament director, and has been to every one of these, which is a pretty remarkable thing in and of itself. One of the things Dan said was, and I brought this up to him, it's like a rite of passage. If you're going to be a great player, you have to win here. And Tiger won here a lot, and Scotty won here last year, and he's the favorite to win here again this year. It's a circlet on the calendar type of thing, which I think makes kind of the Rory thing a little bit tough to kind of understand. Speaking of Mr. Nicklaus, there he and Barbara go on the carts. But that it's kind of the disappointment in that and how that was handled. And I thought Jack handled that very well when he was asked about Rory, and he was very, very, very diplomatic in how he handled that. But the idea that Rory would not send him a text or give him a call and say, hey, I can't make it, that's very disappointing that's the way that happened. But it's a shame that kind of was one of the things earlier in the week that was a little bit of a distraction.
I think it was Ricky Fowler that went down to Florida, I think, to tell Arnold Palmer he wasn't playing in one of his tournaments. And
Bay Hill.
Just to think that you wouldn't just give him a call. It strikes me as odd that Rory, with the respect that you would think. I mean, you hear all of these guys for the past decade talk how much they respect the Golden Bear, that he wouldn't just offer him a phone call or give him some sort of explanation as to why. And it's understandable from a calendar perspective.
Yeah.
If these guys want to take a couple weeks off before would be the U.S. Open coming up in 2 weeks, understandable. But for this, if it is to be believed how much respect and reverence there is for Jack, for this course, for this tournament, a phone call could have done, I think, a lot, because then now you put Jack in an uncomfortable spot, and I think he handled it delicately. And now once Rory comes back out from, maybe he might be in a darkness retreat similar to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Does he have to answer a question as to why you didn't at least call Jack?
I don't think so, because it's going to be, he'll play next week. I don't even know where the
Played
tour
RBC
is next
Canada.
Week. Okay, so he'll be RBC Canada, and then he'll play the U.S. Open, and that'll all be about, trying to win a U.S. Open, and there will be conversation. I mean, he didn't talk at the PGA, so there will be talk about why didn't you do that? Are you ready for the U.S. Open? With all of that. So I think it's largely going to get missed, and I think it's a little bit of a shame, especially after, and Bake, you remember this, so much was made with Jack sitting down at Augusta and going through shot by shot with Rory of how he should play it. So, coming off of that, it's odd. And Rory's played here a ton. He has played here a ton. One of the reasons I always root for him is the way that he behaved as a young player here. He was such a gentleman of the game and such a cool dude. But, things change. Not to say that he hasn't. We don't have any reason to believe he hasn't. But it just struck me a little weird that there wasn't a personal contact with Jack on that, Bake.
It's weird because we've heard for years so many golfers, they want to be here at this tournament because it's Jack's tournament, and they have so much reverence for him. And I understand. Rory has a certain schedule that he likes to keep. Jack talked about it. He wants to play the week before the major, take the week off before that. That's his schedule. That's his preference, whatever. You would think that he would have reached out and let Jack know. I don't know if he has to do that or not, but it sure seems like a courtesy thing. This is just one of those things to me. And again, you guys already know my feelings on Rory. He's a great golfer, one of the best ever, right? There's only 6 of them that have the career Grand Slam.
Yep.
But the potential was there to be so much better. And for whatever reason, it's not. And he finally got the 10-year major monkey off of his back. Maybe it's a time for him to relax and decompress a little bit. Some people think the PGA has thrown him out to dry because he was the guy kind of in the front runner on the PGA banner when the live stuff happened, and he didn't
carried
go
a lot of
over
water
and all of that. And a lot of people feel like the PGA Tour has disrespected him, and maybe that's part of the reason he's not talking to the media as much, and maybe he's not here. I don't know. It's just a bummer that we usually have the best here, and we don't now. 1, because Rory doesn't want to be here this week, and 2, because of the live golf, we don't have those guys here either.
Yeah, you're right. And it's good of you to bring that up, because I know that you're not the biggest fan necessarily of Rory, but it's a very astute point you just made in terms of the water that he carried for those early live PGA he was the guy. He was the face of it. And he, there was nobody from the PGA Tour who could answer for it, so he did. So every time John Rahm left or DeChambeau left or Koepka left, when those guys left, he was having to respond to it. And maybe that fatigued him more than we know. But that is such an inside ballpark conversation. That is a conversation between him and the tour and the people who cover the tour on a weekly basis. In a place like this, we just expect to see him.
Yeah.
You just expect to see him there. And I thought Jack handled it as perfectly.
He was very diplomatic about it, and it's just a shame that you could just have called. Because I think back to when you said about Augusta and how he bent Jack's ear about how to play that course. And if that's the time that he's affording you, I just think the common courtesy, a theme that I harp on a lot, just give him a call.
Yeah, that probably would have solved it. We'll hit three things on a Thursday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, summer is our season, and we're kicking it off with a free 12-ounce Sunrise Sunset Smoothie for National Flip-Flop Day on May 28th from 2 to 7 p.m. Terms and conditions apply.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio.
Right now, save up to $514 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, I got the nicest Google review today. Dewey from Gehanna said, "We cannot believe we are able to get the Pella look and quality at the cost we did."
I got a review too. Listen to this. These windows were great. Oh boy. For about a year. Looks like I'll need to renew, in quotes for some reason, my windows way too soon. Repeat customer?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off of closing costs. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-THIRD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
And I'm his very overpaid celebrity endorser, Common Man. Bob, I heard somewhere, actually from you many, many times, that Worthington Jewelers is where Columbus gets engaged.
It's too bad you and Timmy can't engage the audience.
Good zing, Bob.
If you're thinking of popping the question, there's only one place to go.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown dumb since day one. The Fan.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Bo Bishop is here in real life? Must be Memorial Week. Broadcasting live from the Memorial Tournament. It's Bishop and Friends.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Hi, Reese. What do we have in the poll today, my friend?
All right, look, we try not to sound like pretentious jerks all the time. And I know being from Upper Arlington, it kind of comes with the territory. So I'm going to have to throw one Bodie Wells right under the bus, drive it over him, and then back it up because this fan poll will make us sound very pretentious. It's sponsored by Caster Connection, and it asks, have you ever had one of the milkshakes at Muirfield Village Golf Club? What do you think the answer, or what do you think the percentage of respondents saying no is?
Well, the only way that you can get one is if you are a player, you are a member at Muirfield Village, or you're lucky enough to be invited here as a member of the media and have one in that way. So I would imagine that this is as lopsided a fan poll as we have ever had. I would imagine, it would not surprise me if it were a 90-10 scenario.
88%.
Okay. That's right.
So,
I mean,
great.
No, it's not. Here,
that one.
So the record for most consumed is 600. Made milkshakes was 600. It was about 5-6 years ago when the field was 120.
Okay.
There are 14 flavors that you can choose from. Among the flavors, Butterfingers, Snickers, M&M's, Twix, Oreos, Reese's, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, banana. You can combination any way that you want. Buckeye is obviously the most favorite. That's the one that everyone looks forward to the most. If you're curious from just like a calorie count, about 1,200 calories is what it is. Here's the other thing that's really cool about the milkshakes. They've been around since 1976. When the tournament started, Jack, notorious for his sweet tooth, and it was adamant that there would be milkshakes. So there have been milkshakes here for the entire 50 years that they're having one, or that they've had this tournament. So John Rahm, the 2000, his favorite was the Oreo. Everybody talks about the Buckeye, obviously. So there you go. Good stuff there. All right, time for three things on a Thursday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
I'm going to start here. Number one for me, when Chef Steven came over and brought Brother Bone a smoothie and then he brought some wraps over, you want to know when you're in a proper club is when they hand you a nice heavy paper stock, and on it is a list of smoothies. And on those smoothies is a very detailed description of everything that is in the smoothie, and then also a little graphic that tells you if you should have this pre-round or post-round. I'm taking this back to my clown show club, and we're going to have a little talk about the way things ought to be done. And this piece of paper's coming with me, baby.
The attention to detail is
That's how you do
incredible.
It. That's a proper club.
I did want to have this discussion, and so this is going to be my first thing, and maybe we move this to tomorrow. In that list of milkshake options, I want to know why mint chocolate chip is not one of them. Because if one of the main ingredients is ice cream, why can't that not be done?
Because there's sanity here. And they understand that mint is not dessert. Mint is not dessert, Reese. We'll continue this tomorrow. Go ahead, babe.
So, guys, my first thing, I literally just stumbled across this story in the last 5 minutes. This happened at Foxfire Players Club Golf Club down just a little south of the city on May 23rd. And my phone is being stupid here. But Wade Roberts, 43-year-old man, he was the first of his. He was the first of his last guy on his group to tee off on hole 11 out at Foxfire, which is a little par 3.
Yeah.
He hit a hole-in-one. So they all cheer. There was a group of workers that were on their lunch break that saw it, and they were like congratulating him. Well, the next group comes up when they move off to 12. Mark Hing tees off first. He hits a hole-in-one, too.
Come on.
They said the odds of this happening, consecutive golfers to hit a hole-in-one on the same hole, is 26 million to 1. And they said this is the second time that that's happened on hole 11 at Foxfire.
What is it about? Have you played there, Bake?
So I have. I've actually played there a lot. It's a tough little par 3. It's usually about somewhere in the 130 to 140 range. It is a very long, skinny green. So front to back, it's maybe 10 yards, if that, and it's real wide, and there's water right in front. Like, you could hit the green, and if you have some spin, you could go back into the water even. It's a tough little hole, but obviously it's beating the odds.
That's unbelievable. Number 2 for me, so I was down 71 South this morning, and this is to tell you, I mean, it's essentially Talladega. It's a heavily policed Talladega. Mm-hmm. If you speed, God bless you.
Yep.
I don't understand how you. There were 29 million highway patrol on that road. They were everywhere. And if you took stones to go like 6 miles over. God bless you if you did. They just pinched people left and right. It was unbelievable. The presence on that road.
Well, it's the end of the month, and is the saying,
oh, baby.
If it's 8, you're great. If it's 9, you're mine.
Not me.
9, you're fine.
I'm 5 over. Don't get me, Smokey.
The second thing for me, this came down about 20 minutes ago. Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA, says that the NCAA tournament, might expand to 72 as early as 2026.
No.
Baker adds they're talking about either 72 in the big dance or 76 teams in the big dance starting next year.
Suck.
I hate it.
I agree.
But you know what? They got to find more money. That's what it's about. More television shows.
So, guys, this was the first time that we have all done a show together where I am in here and you guys are not, which means I got to do a lot more. Like, Reese usually plays most of the sound. I'll play a little, but it's usually mostly on him in there. I got to tell you, I had to be on my game today. There was no slacking off, no not paying attention, which I would never do anyway, but I had to be attention to detail today, and you know what? I think I needed that. It was good. A good reminder to stay on your P's and Q's.
Well, we don't have time for a third today because the Crown Prince of Muirfield Village is to my left. Anthony Rothman is here. Matty Ice is here. They're coming up next to regale you with tales of all that is great at the 50th Memorial Tournament. This was a pleasure, day 1. We'll be back tomorrow with day 2. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Ben Sadler, Assistant Vice President, Commercial Lending, on what makes First Bank of Central Ohio successful.
What we do as a community bank is really, listening to, that company, finding the solutions that best need their business and is not just a universal product that you could get anywhere else.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Take action with Logan Services. Save up to $2,600 on a qualifying train system. Plus, pick one indoor air quality product free when you schedule your installation now. Making home comfort easy, Logan Services.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet Store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
It's Military Appreciation Month at Coughlin Chevrolet. Get double the GM military discount. Lease a new 25 Chevy Trax, $139 a month or $119 for military. New Silverado, just $349 a month or $309 for military. Now at Coughlin Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Coughlin has a car for you.
Military discount for active reserve and retired military personnel and their spouse. 39-month lease with $39.99 due at signing for Trax. 36-month lease with $49.99 due for Silverado. Plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details and 6-25.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. How much income will you need to retire? Let us help make sure you reach your financial goals. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
This just in. The NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.